Alright, please bear with us. Had a little bit of technical difficulties. Need to just shuffle everyone to their seats.
Everyone needs to get to their wonderful, wonderful seats. If
There
my
we go.
it looks a little
Thank you so much
silly,
for the
but
bit.
no, let me open up your stream just to see how you have it set up. Just to be sure, Okay. Jeez, I didn't think we were that close to the screen. Oh, but that works though.
That works.
No, it works. Okay. Move everyone to the front. That perfectly works. Nietzsche, you have shrunk. You were the screen for a second.
He was, and as much as we adore our beloved pumpkins, I think this is a much more reasonable means. Welcome everyone to episode 4 of Cryptid Crew. I'm Velveta Loon.
Oh, it's me now.
Yeah.
Hello. I am your favorite Pumpkin Cat Nietzsche streamer. You can catch me over at pumpkincatnietzsche.twitch.tv.youtube.yahoo. Something.
Bruh, copyright infringement. Frog, come on. Come on.
No, on the real, I am frog and loathing. I do stream sometimes. I haven't streamed lately, but I want to get back into it. You know, I gotta ease my way back in. That's who I am. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I am everyone's wonderful Pumpkin Cat Nietzsche, and we are joined by our special guest.
Yeah, apparently, directly after this pilot goes to a concert, they decide to pull me into this realm to do some communications. Hi, everybody. I'm EzekielShadeheart. I'm usually a storyteller a lot of the times. I play things at times, and yeah. Hi. Hello. I've never done this before. What is going on?
All right. Well, we talk about all things cryptid, weird, spooky,
supernatural, the occult, you may say.
Okay. All right. That's why you've dragged me here. Okay, I get it.
Sometimes I like to create our own too. You know, that's every now and then.
Frog's gonna just start making stuff up on spot, and it's gonna be chat's like job to figure out if it's true or not. You're not just pulling it out of the blue. Spooky like you. I get told I'm more cute than spooky.
Duke, I do not abuse mod privileges ever. Never have I done that.
Nope, couldn't be you.
No.
Man, it
couldn't be spooky.
It could have been
as you're literally Halloween coded, my guy.
Listen, I had a whole debate, right, with the other I believe it was the other week, wasn't it? Where I was like, man, it's interesting that a lot of like goth women started following me, and I'm just like, and I keep in mind I forgot I was Halloween coded, so I was like, man, and I said it out loud, man, a lot of goth women following me. It's an interesting like bunch, and if I was like, yeah, it's almost like you're Halloween coded, huh? And I'm just sitting there for like a good solid minute. It's like, wait, no, you're right.
No, we need to give you one of those fishing hats that says "Women fear me, goth women want to be around me."
But I need to look up those.
As a goth woman can confirm. Also, you know, are you really complaining about being perceived?
Nah, only complaint I got is I'm getting DMs, and it's just pumpkin spice or sledgehammer to a pumpkin, one of the two. I can't tell if that's threatening, or they're just letting me know they see me. Yeah,
you know? Yeah, good question.
Well, here's the surprise twist for today. We've actually brought one of them on as a guest star. Come on out.
Not the ripest sapling in the pumpkin patch. No, but definitely the most precious.
Not right, bruh.
It's okay, you don't want to be eaten anyway.
It's the one with the. Sleep with one eye, one eye carving open. Bruh, I bite. I promise.
Are you able to wink, Nietzsche? Let's go!
Hell yeah.
Some people can't wink, so I didn't know.
Good question. I think Frog can't.
Big frog.
You know
Can't.
what? That's
Well,
true.
it's almost
That's
like
true,
they're a
I can't.
Muppet. It's almost like they're a Muppet.
Yes, I'm actually cursed by the eldritch gods to not be able to blink. My eyes are ever so dry.
Went to evil.
Damn.
Man, this is great. I never get to use my model often, so I'm like, I don't know how to respond to anything or how I should I have to, yeah.
I can only wink. Oh yeah, your model does have one eye. Is it really
So
winking
you're
if it's
just-
one
you're just
eye?
blinking.
That's
You're
blinking
just
though.
blinking.
That's
Hell
Yeah, I think we've got a wide range of topics to go over tonight. I appreciate everyone's patience with me as I girl failured too hard.
no,
but
it's all
if we're-
good.
If we're ready to get started, I think we can
So
roll on into it.
before we wonderfully
Zeke in the petting zoo. Right, yeah.
Zeke's in that-
I mean, you are the only human here.
Is he
I
technically
want that piece, I
human
want that
though?
Yeah, I
Is he
guess you're
technically
right.
human though? Like that's debatable.
I mean, everybody wants to claim I'm very superhuman in a lot of things, and I tell them that's all myth.
You are.
Listen,
You
being
definitely are. Wait, hang on. Let me get the Zeke command.
No, don't do it.
it's
The Zeke command.
being superhuman is cool, but nothing is as cool as having a one-man stand against something that may or may not be God. And then just outranking them.
That was a good point.
Yeah, I guess. I guess.
What you cooking? What you cooking there, Nietzsche?
Okay, so
What are you implying?
sometimes when I think of like those moments, I just for some reason Final Fantasy or like even like Dark Souls just comes up to my head where it's like someone who can barely do anything, but the second you see God, it's like, nah, I got this. I can win.
Yeah.
I met God. I met God myself.
It's that one Oniji video where it's like, he only looks big. We'll show him.
Hey, yo.
It just reminds me of like one of those songs, just it's only one guy. It doesn't matter how big they are, it's just one. We can win.
No, it does matter.
Zeta, where? Okay. But any questions before we start this wonderful, wonderful stories? Anything we gotta ask before we start? Before I start my entire essay that I spent my wonderful time in writing.
The frog a frog? Well, actually, no. I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, actually, no. You know what?
Cryptid
I probably
confirm. Cryptid confirm.
am. But we don't know for certain, so he's listed as a cryptid for now.
Donald Duck is built different, bro. Donald Duck is always on something, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
For real.
So, if there's no more questions or concerns, I will, want me to start?
Take it
Yeah.
away, Nietzsche.
So, started with my wonderful, is Zeke part of the petting zoo because he's a beast?
No.
Oh,
no,
damn.
No. I'm just an average, ordinary dimension hopping pilot that does random, average, ordinary things that not are considered impossible.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh, totally.
Totally.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, no. Now, before we even start my story, keep in mind, some of these myths are from folklore and legends. They're not always cryptids. In my case, in my story, the Raven Mocker, which has been shown in a couple of old media, couple old writings, but we're not going to go on that just yet. But a Raven Mocker is figures that tend to be seen in Cherokee mythology, which this is near the native times, and these things can be described as being a witch, maybe an old person, or even an evil spirit. Now, you might ask, okay, what makes this thing dangerous? Now, this thing is called the Eater of Hearts, or the Death Caller. As the name implies, this thing usually go after the sick or dying, aka any chronic illness or even people who's in old age. Now, these
or just
things...
my average day trolling the old people in the retirement homes, okay?
Yeah, basically. So, now, you might ask, is it like a Windy Monster case where they eat just so they can satisfy their hunger? Or even a Skinwalker that, who knows what their objectives are? Now, Raven Mocker goes for feed on the sick and dying to extend their own lifespan. So they do this to eat people's hearts just so they can live longer. Basically, they don't want to die, so they want to like take your life away instead. Now,
Alright.
these things, to go over the looks of it before going the stories, they look super old. They tend to have a raven-like form. I think I put a picture in chat.
Yes,
I am
on
gonna...
my stream, you can see the visual in the upper right-hand corner behind Zeke and Fork.
Which I will open up the image myself. Which...
That's been reduced to the name of
Bork.
Yeah.
I am the fork.
I said Zeke and Fork? What?
Okay, I heard fork.
Life is soup. I am the fork.
You know, life... If,
No, okay, you're forever Fork now, Zeke.
you know,
I'm fork?
life is pretty hard, and I'm the chopsticks, guys.
Man, chopsticks have so many uses, though.
Oh,
Like, you can cook with them, you can stir with them.
You can't eat soup
there's so
with...
many good things you can do.
You can't eat soup with
You can cook with
chopsticks. You can't
You
eat...
can cook. You can ramen.
Yeah, you
can cook
absolutely
with them.
can.
You can eat with them. You can cook with them. You can perform self-defense with them. You can break open a door with them. You can repair swords with them. Yeah, there's a lot of uses that they can do.
Yeah, chopsticks are great.
Ooh. But to continue on as the picture showed to the right, this is mostly drawings of it. There has been a couple people who says they have seen it, but
Okay.
they mostly look like a normal person that has like a lot of crow stuff. Now, why would people call this humanoid-looking crow man a monster? Now, it's because these things only hunt at night. God forbid if something like this hunts in day. This thing, when it flies through the air, it makes like, you know, a swishing sound that sounds super similar to a raven. Not only that, it wings and the things they leave behind also is like a raven. So a lot of people sit there and call it the omen of death. And if a lot of people hears the cries, which it does make raven cries, they say that oh yeah, your life is coming to an end and this is why. Now,
So it's kind of that moment where it's like, oh hey, hold up, I'm hearing the sound of a bird. What's that mean? You're about to die. Oh.
it's because like usually, right? Because because here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
When you hear sounds of birds, you sit there and be like, oh, it's just a bird, right? It's nothing special. Ravens have a distinct cry, which you can tell it's a raven. Ravens don't make a lot of sounds at night compared to like midday. So when they hear a strange sound at midnight, and keep in mind, this is when other animals are quiet, because when crickets are silent, that means there's a big predator in the area because bugs usually make sounds, and so does other, animals. If you hear like complete silence and you hear a raven cry, yeah, no, your time coming to the end, and somebody is probably about to cut the string. And you might say, oh, these things probably like come in ones. No, these things can come in groups. Sometimes they come in 2, sometimes 3. God forbid if it's 4, but
Wait, you get multiple of these?
yeah, basically.
So I have a question, real quick.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever there's like ravens or crows, like forming like like a group of 3 or more, it's a murder. So like, does that mean like these things can form like a murder?
Yeah, basically.
Like an attempted
So,
murder?
I mean, they're probably going to have a murder at some point.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, that's why they're there, right?
Is that thing preening its feathers, or is it like eating its arm?
it's like cleaning off its beak.
Oh, okay.
Or not beak, whatever you wanna say it is. But so most of the time they hunt by themselves, but there've been a couple stories where they have hunted in packs, which, as I said, the packs are not it's both the best and the worst situation for you. And I will explain why it's the best situation in a bit. Is this a story where...
Imagine why it'd be a best situation.
No, you find out. You find out in a minute. So, when anyone were to spot a raven mocker's true form, they will 100% die within 7 days. 100%.
That's horrible.
And is this a story where Mr. Poe got the idea for rape? So, Mr. Poe, just to go on a side tangent, I believe they mostly wrote the idea for the eyes in that as a symbolism for like getting stared at in that. And crows, believe it or not, crows always know you're watching them. Crows are smart animals. They're not like... Crows and ravens are smart animals. They always know when they're being watched. So that's why ravens and crows are considered like the smartest birds out there.
Corvids, they can pass the mirror test. Fun fact. Most animals can't.
Now, these raven mockers, and before you say, do these raven mockers just wait until you die? Absolutely not. If they can kill you, they absolutely would. There have been cases where they try their best to press on victims' chests to prevent them from breathing, or even just throwing them around altogether. Imagine being elderly and you just get slammed to the floor. Yeah, this thing would make sure you ain't coming back up. And
it's just throwing around old people?
It's just
or
throwing
sick.
around whatever it can, apparently. It'll just take it. It saw something shiny in you, and the shiny thing was your life force.
And you can relate stuff like this to a vulture because a vulture does the same thing. Vultures don't usually attack things that's like perfect health. It usually go for things that like dying or sick. So you can like sorta put this towards like a type of vulture, but the only reason why it's called a raven is literally because it looks and the cries it makes. Now, to go on a little bit, the only people who can spot this witch or whatever being this is are people who use medicine, such as like shamans and stuff like that. They're the only ones who can perceive these beings. So think of it as like being the opposite side of the scale, one being life, other one being death.
So, what you're saying is, those who have witnessed death can see this.
Basically. Or even those who can like very high medicines, or who's very good with like, spirits in that, which is most case shamans.
Yep.
They can see this thing, and as I said earlier, if anyone sees a true form, it dies within 7 days, 100%. Now, these crow mockers can also disguise themselves as normal people as well, hence the word true form. So you won't truly know if, that's a crow, not crow, I keep saying crow mocker because I keep thinking of Fear and Hunger. Raven mocker, you can't tell if someone's a Raven Mocker or they're just a normal person just acting weird.
Mhm.
And these things are usually really dangerous. They've been warned about during Cherokee mythology, like highly. The only reason why a lot of people don't talk about the Raven Mocker is literally because the Windy Monster and Skinwalkers. They tend to get overshadowed by these type of beings.
They're just lesser known.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And there also been a renowned Cherokee shaman who said has destroyed a couple of Raven Mockers by using a special tea made from a duck root, letting him see them.
Oh.
Okay.
So there has been a couple of things. Now,
Hmm.
there's three main stories, but before getting on that, the books that was based on the Raven Mockers are called The Raven Mocker, The First Raven Mocker, The Curse of the Raven Mocker, and Return of the Raven Mocker, which these are books you can get on Amazon. A lot of people didn't like them, but I did. I read them a small bit, and I do find them a little interesting. So I do say, give it a good checkout if you haven't. Now, any questions before I start with the three wonderful stories that I got on my list?
Are they able to be friendly?
No, 100%. I mean, look at it like this. It's like a tiger hunting its prey. If you don't look good, it's not going to mess with you. If you look good, it will mess with you, but not in the way that you want it to.
So if I like
What do
left
you mean
out
by
like a
look
tray
good?
of- Yeah.
Define look good.
I feel
As
like they look pretty good. Is that a good thing or a bad thing against it?
I don't know. I think they'll avoid me. I look pretty average.
It depends on
I don't
one's definition.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it just means that
Yeah.
you look like you're at a point that you're going to die.
I'm part native. My God, we have so many shapeshifters. I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of shapeshifters, and I mostly believe because in native folklore, it's mostly to do with lying and pretending who you aren't. Because Japan is like the same way for like some of its stories of like
And
not
mention
acting like who you really
Yoko.
are. Yeah. Like a lot of mythologies go over that. I feel like the only one that probably doesn't go too heavily into it is probably Greek mythology. But a lot of like native folklore, Japanese mythology, and that goes over like you acting like someone you're actually not. Hence towards why there's a lot of shapeshifters, because native times there have been a lot of like stuff going on in the wild. It's like when you're like out camping and you hear a strange sound, would you really go and check that out? I mean,
Yeah.
Some people,
No.
yes.
some of us would, a lot of us wouldn't.
Give me an example.
Cower
real
in the
quick.
tent.
We're gonna do a little scenario here, if that's cool with you, Nietzsche. Give me an example. What's the sound that we hear coming from the woods?
Let's just say you hear a raven cry, which is connected to this.
Dang, I might go actually look at that. I like ravens.
While you're
No.
hold on, they could give you context as well. You're also severely sick and you have a broken leg. You still want to go?
Oh no, I probably wouldn't want to move anywhere, bro. I'd probably not even want to like get up. I'd just be on my phone playing like little silly games, waiting for help.
Silly little game.
So my question is, when you said it sounds like a raven, right? Does it sound exactly like the tone, pitch, and size of a traditional raven? Or does it just sound like a raven, but size might be larger?
Size might be larger.
Oh.
You know what? Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted, bruh.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No.
I respect that.
But like, it's fine. It flash at you and you just iframe it.
I mean, as long as you like see this being, you could like kill it. But the thing is that is if you can actually see it, because like I said, ravens can blend into the dark pretty well. This is why Raven Mocker is such a big threat and dangerous, is the fact you won't see it most of the time.
Mhm.
And as I said, this thing is not really a cryptid, it's more as a folklore type of thing, and it's closer to human than it is to cryptid. territory.
I mean, it still falls within our umbrella for the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So like the Raven Mocker, as you say, is along the same lines as like the Wendigo.
Yes and no, at the same time, because like for like a windy monster or whatever, that's so the whole reason for that whole cryptid is, if you read the stories, it's mostly to do with, oh, if you keep falling into gluttony and obsession, you're going to turn into this. While in this story, a lot of people relate to this to real life because, a lot of people will do anything they can to get like what they want, even if it means like getting it off someone's dead corpse, which is a big thing back then in native times. Because during winter in that, how bad the season can be, and people will do absolutely anything they can just to live. So, and when people do anything like greed in that, it's always you act like a vulture or you act like a raven, like one of the two. Usually, that's where that saying come from.
Yeah, no, it's the reason why is like the origins of like how it came to be and stuff. Is again, it came from a certain thing, and evil spirit definitely is.
And as I said, a lot of people would put this thing in the lines of evil spirit, if not a witch.
Yes.
Which usually for a windy monster, it's like, oh, this thing is a beast, was human, goes around the woods.
Mm-hmm.
This thing would be related to a witch, if not a spirit. So that's why it's not really in the cryptid territory, is literally because it's either a witch or a spirit. No one knows. Because, they don't count spirits like the Banshee or even the Wraith. They don't count those as cryptid. They count those as an occult type deal.
Yeah.
So a Raven Mocker, even though a lot of people have like mixed, opinions, it doesn't fall into a cult, yet it does. I like to try to keep a middle ground.
It falls under occult, it doesn't fall under cryptid.
Yeah.
Like Schrodinger's cryptid. It's like it checks all the boxes, but it does not have the title of cryptid.
It doesn't have a title. Yeah. Now to start with the first story, it's a noble tale involving a young hunter who, he was in a bad area. He was exhausted. He saw a abandoned house. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna rest. He heard a cry of a raven. This man was like, that's a little odd, but it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
An old man and a woman then entered the house, and they have revealed themselves to be raven mockers, which this guy is watching in the background. They haven't been, seen yet. And they were talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna how we're gonna steal people's lives and how we're gonna increase our lifespan, And the hunter, as he claimed, he has witnessed them roasting a human heart. And the next morning, which the old man gave the hunter a gift of bread work because he found them the next day. They didn't really see him at night, but they saw him at day. He was like, oh yeah, don't tell anyone we were here, okay? And he's like, okay, alright. The hunter disregarded the gift. He ran straight for his village. Straight for it. Book it. And he told the village, hey, I saw this. We need to do something. This doesn't seem nice. So a group of warriors within the village went to that house, and the couple were dead. And this was within 7 days. The couple was dead, and they destroyed the house, saying, oh yeah, I have raven mockers. We can't let this stay up.
Wait, I'm confused. Why was the couple already dead?
The couple was raven mockers.
Because they were witnessed.
They were witnessed.
I thought the couple were the raven mockers.
They are. They got witnessed.
Because they were witnessed by the hunter while he was hiding.
Oh.
They weren't aware of that.
Oh.
And
okay,
the next day,
I completely misunderstood that part. I thought it was You witness them. You will be dead in 7 days.
No, you see them.
If they are perceived, they will be dead in 7 days.
That's why.
Got you,
That's why I
got
say.
you.
That's why I said if a group is hunting you, it's a good thing. Because remember, more bodies means you're more likely to see them.
Yeah.
Because as long as you see them, they will 100% die. It doesn't matter.
Like, I have a question.
Got it.
So I know that like they're like prophesized to die no matter what. Like whenever, like within 7 days after seeing someone, do they die in a specific way every time, or is it just like prophesized that they just like keel over and die, or does like what happens? Do you know?
So there hasn't been much stories about like what happened. Like in this case, in this story, they seen the dead bodies of the people, them as humanoids and not Ravenmockers. So I assume they just fall over and like literally die. That's what I like to assume. In other cases, I think they would just dissipate and just disappear. That's what I would assume.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, this thing does fall in the line of evil spirit, if not a witch, so you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on, Seek.
It seems like, again, like, let's go with some anime logic, like Death Note. It seems like the Shinigami were kind of borrowed from that idea as well, with the way that they do things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What if they just like spontaneously combusted?
Well, then there
It's-
wouldn't be bodies left.
You
Oh,
want
yeah, I
to?
guess so.
Yeah.
I think that would cause another problem of animals will like very easily like take that and just like walk away. This is a dark but good fact about true crime cases. A lot of the reasons why a lot of people can't identify the body is because of animals.
Mhm.
Take that as you will. Now.
What about the water bear's survivability versus the curse of the Ravenmocker?
Yeah. I think I take my chances with the bear, unfortunately, because I at least have a chance of fighting back.
No, dude. They don't just insta Family Guy death pose. They insta Yamcha death pose.
Bruh, yes.
Like 1 frame, standing, done.
It reminds me of that one silly game. You know that one game where it's like everything looks normal, but if you walk in one area incorrectly, you just die by something random? I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it was like very funny.
I can't remember.
When I think of like abrupt death in a game, I think of games like Lethal Company, where you like round a corner and just blow up on a mine.
Bro,
True.
Hey guys, I found a.
The amount of cut off death screams, dude, I died every single time I played that game.
Bro.
Almost every time.
It reminds me of that one time when I got dragged by the shadow people in Repo, and he dragged me to the head, and I just die. And last thing, seeking it was someone else too. Last time y'all here was me screaming.
I mean, I know. I feel like the last time we played Repo, that happened with aliens. They subducted you into the ceiling.
You know,
There was a lot of funny moments. Like I heard him screaming because he was taken by a shadow man and just brought somewhere else. No, I just hear.
Yeah, because I thought it was Maeve. Because I saw Maeve. She was like in front of the truck, and I was like, "Hey, take me to freedom." And Maeve said, "Okay," and I got picked up. I was like, "Hey, Maeve, I didn't mean pick me up." And I heard voices and I started getting pulled away. I was like, "Hey, Maeve, this is not funny." And she's like, "It wasn't me." I was like, "Huh?" And I started getting dragged and I turned to my right. I see Seek and Frog under the table staring at me. And I started breaking. And then about time he dropped me, I turned, I see the head right there, and I was like, "God damn it." I was
That's a
not
double
happy.
he's right behind me, isn't he? Moment. First the shadow monster, and then the head.
Now to continue with the second wonderful story, which is this second story is recounted by 2 medicine men who these, to give you context, these 2 people have fasted for 7 days, and
Okay.
as you know, some of the legends go, they got like vision enhancements, and they apparently see things that no one else could see. And they witnessed a lot of raven mockers gathering around near our grave. And they noticed that these things were trying to dig into the earth just to get a heart from a corpse. And they end up like fleeing, of course, because the dude saw them. Is like, hey, just put realistic finger here. I see you. And they basically just went away, and this guy underwent a healing ritual to like recover himself and the area. Which this one is shorter than the others. This story is shorter than others.
What do you mean recover himself?
You know how sometimes you get into like you see something that's not really there and you start to freak out and you just can't shake that feeling? They did the thing just so they can shake that feeling, basically. Okay. Like any person would do when they see, as the picture shows top right. If you've seen this thing, like digging in the grave, like what would you think? Like what would be the first thought in your head?
Okay, no, I got you. He was having like the panics and stuff and needed to just like recuperate.
Some people would do like healing rituals, witchcraft, stuff just to calm them down a bit. Maybe special rocks. I wouldn't recommend some of them. Shadow says I would hug it. I mean, if you want, I'm not stopping you. And it's my wonderful friend Nox.
Thank you so much for the follow.
It's our wonderful friend.
Welcome in.
I may just shout them out. They're great.
In,
but to continue on, a normal thing anyone react when they see a thing that doesn't seem like normal or seem out of place. That's why it's stuck a lot out for a lot of natives because of this. This is like one of the first like general stories, and like a lot when people talk about the Raven Mocker is usually this story. Now the third story, which is the last one from what I could gather. So there's a tale that a man died alone because his family basically feared a raven mocker, and they basically threw him under the bus. Of course, lovely. Thank you for having me. Yeah, Nox amazing. But to continue on, basically the people kinda just, or not the people, his family just drew this guy under the bus. He's like, yeah, good luck, and the raven mockers basically tortured and, killed him. And basically just took his lifespan. The end. Dot. Now, a lot of people kind of don't really...
Or was it?
Or was it? A lot of people don't really believe this story. This third one. Because, as, a lot of the legend goes, Raven Mockers don't really... They do small things to try to, get you to die quicker. They don't go on in full torture you mode. Which is why some people hesitate.
They throw old people around.
Yeah, but when I say torture, I mean torture. I mean that torture. It's one thing if you fall.
Days worth of torture.
Yeah,
it's. But then throwing old people around is just like a pastime.
Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, that's just casually what we do here. Yeet.
Yeah, but who doesn't?
Fun here.
Who doesn't throw old people around, brah? Something tells me something tells me sometimes you walk behind your friend who may be older than you. It's like, man, what if I just push him down the stairs full force? Just
okay, no. As someone who's been pushed down the stairs, don't do that. Don't do that to your friends.
I never said to do that. I never said to do it.
As someone who's lived on the water, I have occasionally and very frequently pushed people into the water.
That's fine.
I got pushed in the water. I never got pushed in down. Actually, I fell down the stairs before, but I never been pushed down the stairs. I don't have not a single harmful body part in my body,
harmful
so
bone
I
in
would.
your body, yes.
No,
I would not recommend.
I will push people into the water, even if the water beneath it is 30 feet below the ledge that we're on.
Once you hit 27, falling down the stairs is a 15-year disability sentence. Yeah.
It is.
Nietzsche, you had that dot around me, and I know it. listen. Let's all be honest. Have we all not have any like dark thoughts near our friends? So it's like I shouldn't be thinking that, but I do. Just me?
No. There are several points. I can recall one recently of certain somebody, who I'm not going to say who, but and I'm not gonna out them for anything, but decided that they should put their hand in a boiling kettle.
God.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think yeah. It's almost like it's almost like they're here with us. Not naming who. Tug, hint.
No! No!
Hint.
My brain didn't fully register, okay? It wasn't intentional.
I just did the complex equations to find out who we were talking about, and it all feels in this.
Look, I was being nice. I wasn't explaining who. Nietzsche went the extra mile there. He's the one who threw under the bus.
This is why I need a hotkey to massively expand my head whenever I finally understand. And I'm just like, I have an idea, and my head just like grows like 3 times larger.
Bruh, I need like one of those just on my top of my head.
Just grab him and zoom him in wildly whenever he says that.
Just do it till like you see pixels. Now on to so who is that? That's the end of my line. Any questions, concerns?
I mean, I have concerns, but
Yeah,
that's
what's the
okay.
concerns? What's here the concerns?
I just mean, like, I don't know. You don't want to run into that, you know?
You
I
won't
mean, you
run
kinda
into it. The
do.
thing will run into you, if anything.
Okay, you kind of want to run into it. You don't want it to run into you. Yes, exactly the point.
If you run into it,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's dead. It's dead. If it runs into you, yeah, you better hope that those 2 days of Bible study will help you.
2 days of Bible? No.
No, I don't think that you know, something tells me that the power of Christ will not compel them.
No, something tells me that if any one of us tried to touch a religious book, it would catch fire, or we would catch fire.
For real.
The worst part, I thought it was Frog at first, then fell out herself out.
So Nietzsche, I do have a question.
Yeah, go on.
All right. Have you ever had the grilled stuffed nacho from Taco Bell that is no longer available?
I had. I thought it was good, but I always still choose the craving box. Like craving box has always been my 100% go-to.
It was
Whoa,
a
whoa,
guy-
whoa.
The craving box is the goat.
Well, did you just say Nietzsche the crayon box?
No, the cravings
The
box, not
cravings
crayon.
box.
Listen,
I like
last
those.
time I tried to do that, I got like got a 10-minute lecture from Phil.
I like to eat the.
Yeah,
green
no, Frog, bad.
one.
No eating crayons.
It's yummy.
All I say is crayons or paper, and I'm apparently enemy number 1.
No, not allowed.
Okay. Now, I like how you always
It's really
assume
good.
if I touch a Bible, it will explode. Bruh. Okay, so, Frog, I am gonna hand the mic to you, wonderful friend. Since this is
Let's go.
your...
Thank you. So, what's the deal with cryptids, right? You're always looking for them, but you can never find them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Anyway, all right. On the real. So,
Mhm.
space. It seems to go on forever. Then you get to
Yeah.
the end, and a gorilla starts throwing barrels at you. Once quoted by Futurama. That's not my point that I'm making here today, but space.
Uh-huh.
Several things come from it. What's out there exactly? There's such a vast expanse to space, and we don't really know just what all is out there. I mean, there's theories that there could be life very close by. There's some theories that there's no life at all out
I
there.
can
but
confirm it is a scary place, though.
yes, very, 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 very much so, based on what I've heard. So this next creature that I am going to present to you is also a flying creature, funny enough. But on the evening of 1986, a man named Frank Shaw, with a little indie company that you may or may not have heard of called NASA, he decided that it was it was time for him to go home, and he was going to end his shift. He's probably really hungry, like space exploration and like in space like investigation and research probably it takes a lot out of you. So he's like, oh man, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Oh boy, I can't wait. Yummy. I'm gonna get that.
Out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get that taco. I'm gonna go get the taco craving box that was around in 1986. And then whenever he was getting off and he was like getting ready to go, unbeknownst to him, he would have a very strange encounter that night. As he looked up, he saw on the ledge of of one of the buildings on the property, he saw what looked almost like a statue. He thought that statue wasn't there before, and it was a dark humanoid, a jet black looking humanoid figure.
He was Batman.
Yeah,
He was
it
Batman.
looked kind of
Bruh.
similar, I suppose, to Batman perching. But the way he described it, and funny enough, this is not going to help the case against it being Batman, but there was a large cape draped across its shoulders. As if that wasn't bizarre enough, he claimed that he saw two massive bat-like wings sticking out of either side of the fabric, or perhaps wrinkled flesh. He couldn't really tell. He thought that was a really strange-looking statue, but then suddenly he saw the wings unfurl, and he heard a crackling as the thing took flight. Terrified, he ran for his car and he just dove right in. He didn't even bother to look back at the thing that was following him, and he peeled away and made it home. Now, the interesting thing about that is, I mean, up until that point, he had heard nothing about this creature. He had no idea what the hell he just saw. He was obviously panicked. I mean, if you saw that, you'd be like, oh damn, that thing is gonna eat me or something. But like, anyway,
I like to disagree with that.
You like to disagree.
There's two mentalities. There's the oh yeah, I should run, and then there's the you know what, I'm standing my ground and I'm fighting that. I don't care. I die a legend.
Arc, and he's like, I'm not afraid of you, and then that thing eats him.
Reminds me of like the stupid scene from like It.
We defeat the villain by being not afraid of it.
You gotta run. It's just running is good option.
Yeah,
run and hide.
Like, to a degree, fear is like like important for mankind's survival. There's a reason that human beings are still alive to this day, and it's because fear is a necessary function in the body to be like, hey, maybe I should not fight this thing that is trying to kill me and is much larger than myself. Maybe I should leave.
Yeah.
But yes, that being said, the thing kind of dove in his general direction. He doesn't know if it was intentionally pursuing him or if it was just swinging by. But whenever he arrived home, he was kind of standoffish with his family. His family immediately knew something was wrong, and they kind of asked. They said, oh, how was work? And he says, oh, well, you're not gonna believe this, honey. And she's like, what? Did you discover a new planet? He's like, no, actually, better yet, I discovered a gargoyle. It was a man-eating gargoyle that was trying to eat me. He didn't actually say it like that, but I like to imagine he did. But yeah, I have no idea how the conversation actually went, but apparently he was traumatized trying to explain this to his family. I mean, understandably so. And whenever they found out about this, what's up?
I was gonna say, I mean, it happened in like literally not too long. I mean, like, imagine running from something scary that could like easily fold you. You go home and you're just like, how are you supposed to tell your family without getting sent to the psych ward? Like, come on.
So it's 1986. I'm trying to think. Like, I would take off my hat as I arrived inside the home, and I'd be like, hey honey, can you come here for a second? And then she'd be like, yeah, what's up? And then like, what? And I'd be like, okay, listen, I don't mean to like make you go crazy or anything, but and I'd sigh and I'd like kind of wrinkle my head. She'd say, oh, what's wrong? And I'd be like, there's a man-eating gargoyle and it's probably outside. It's going to attack us. We need to get out of here.
Bro, that's a
We
good
need
way to.
We need to have moved from this place like yesterday.
That's a good way
Okay,
to
but, like-
cause unnecessary panic.
I do have a question though.
Yeah.
Why is he wearing a cape? Why does he
Why
have
is he
a
wearing-
cape?
I don't know. I think
So-
he said that it looked like a cape at first, but it could have been wrinkled flesh. He said he was
have,
like
like,
too
a-
big to tell.
You have like an artist depiction of this thing?
It is up on the same spot that the Raven Mocker.
No, it
Was.
isn't.
Oh, it is. I see it here
Oh, it
for
is.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't
I
see
see
it.
Yeah, I got it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like so. Apparently, there's like several depictions of it. Yeah, and it looks like some kind of like strange demon
Let
that you might see in
me-
like the Elder Scrolls or something.
Yeah. I'm just like,
Yeah,
why does he have a
it-
cape?
It looks like a level 50 generic enemy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's like
I like how you said generic
drop like
enemy.
a powerful evil mace or something that like feeds off of like the souls of your enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like so having this encounter, you know, he told his wife and his daughter, he's like, yeah, there's a fucking gargoyle that tried to kill me, and they're like, oh god, that's horrible, honey, and he's like, yeah, right, and they're so basically anyway, he went back to work the next day, somehow, you know, bolstered up the courage to do so, I guess because the sun was out, he wasn't as worried about the thing, but he told his boss, he's like, hey dude, there's did you know about this fucking? Am I like the? Is someone pulling a prank on me? Like, do we just have that, you know, at NASA? But like, he wasn't aware, so he like talked to his boss, like, yeah, you know, there's like a gargoyle outside, right, dude? He's like, not like the statue either. That's like a monster, bro. It's like the thing of like legend, like, it's like fucking, you know, like Cerberus or some shit. Like, dude, that's like a monster out there. But anyway, he's like, oh no, oh wait, yes, I did know about that. And then the boss pulled out this file. And they already had a file on the thing, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Oh shit!
And like he's like, yeah, there's actually been other people who have reported this also, and like kind of going through the file. Apparently, and this part always makes me really sad because I'm always like really sad whenever like animals get hurt. But like apparently there had been two cases of some of the base's German shepherds actually being like pretty much ripped to pieces by an unidentified creature in the area. And it matched the description exactly of what he was saying. So he's like, holy shit, that's insane. He's like, yeah, what's up?
And now if I have something to add, couldn't you also sit here and say that there's also like, keep in mind, NASA has a lot of smart people, and how they act is they don't really get into the supernatural in that. So with the fact that they have this on case file, plus, you know, a couple of things dying from whatever this is, couldn't you say there's some truth to the story?
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like there's like it's weird that this has like become like such a and it gets even weirder with this next part.
Yeah.
But like so he's like, okay, that's, you know, that's at least like interesting to know that I'm not the only one who's seen it. Like at least I know I'm not going crazy. But it's also scary because that means that like, you know, NASA knows about it. They have a file on it. So following his unusual confession, the most interesting thing happened where a lot of people around the office that weren't already in the loop started talking about it, and it became like a huge discussion at the office. I mean, you know, not every day is there like a giant bat-like creature that, you know, like stalks your office area. Like it's like, yeah, this is a problem. Like everyone's gonna be talking about it. So everyone starts talking about it and gets escalated up the chain of command. And the weirdest part that happens next is at Frank Shaw's house. He hears a knocking on the door the next morning, and men in black show up at his house and basically tell him that it would be in his best interest that he just forgets the whole thing ever happened.
Huh?
That's
Yeah, no deal. No deal, Chief. No deal. What do I get out of it? Nothing? No deal.
Yeah, and like it's not very clear as to how they persuaded him, but the story kind of runs cold after that point. And the most interesting thing is that, I mean, Frank Shaw's no longer alive. Like, I mean, he passed away. But there's no way to get in contact with his wife or daughter. Apparently, like, they have no social media presence, and no one knows how to get in contact with them anymore. So it's like they just completely disappeared off the face of the map after that whole situation happened.
What if they changed their names and stuff? Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, like went into like witness protection or something, or like I don't know. that's so the trail just runs completely cold after that point. We don't know if like something happened where they just don't want to talk about it anymore, or if they decide to change their identity, went into witness protection, or if those men in black maybe
They moved to Mexico, bro.
Yeah,
I absolutely doubt they moved to Mexico. Like I feel that would have been a hard journey to begin with to genuinely do. Like, they don't make it easy going through that border.
Yeah.
From like the things I heard, so like I doubt that is a possible like thing that happened. I feel like the witness protection thing makes the most sense, but that's just me.
But there is a lot of debate on whether or not the creature still is around the Johnson Space Center, belonging to NASA to this day. And to this day, there's that's sort of a local cryptid. So if any of you ever happen to be at the Johnson Space Center, just be aware that you might get randomly ambushed by a gargoyle one night.
You might be watched.
Yeah. Like he might just be on your car. Like that would kind of suck.
What if he goes down in front of you and just say no one believes you and then just disappear?
Goes down in front of you, like, yo.
What if he literally, what if he just like literally like swoops down really really fast and like you're like really scared and like you like kind of coil up because you think he's about to attack you and he like just lands in front of you and he holds out both hands and he has a Coke in one hand and a Pepsi in the other. He's like, pick one, and then like you're like kind of scared. You're like, so what are you doing?
He'll provide protection to the facility and everything else. His only thing is he needs additional dogs.
Why does that give me that gives me like that one, I think it was like one dude in Japan, they call him the SCP Dr. Pepper Man, and that's because he appears like out of thin air and he just gives people Dr. Pepper. He doesn't talk or anything, he just gives the streamer Dr. Pepper and then just disappears.
I would be okay with that.
He's trying to keep everybody hydrated.
Except for the fact that I'd probably just magically disappear.
Just
like, if that creature just like swooped down to you though and offered you either a choice of Coke or Pepsi, what would you choose? You don't want to upset the creature. You don't want to turn down his generous gift, so you can't choose neither. He's just looking at you and he's like staring. He's breathing and his breath is really hot and it kind of smells like old stone.
There's only one option, and that's Coke. You take
Pepsi,
Coke.
obviously.
But
so you choose the Coke and he cracks it open and he drinks it real fast and he crushes the can and he goes, thank you, and then he flies off and he leaves you a Pepsi.
I would just give him a thumbs up and be like, no problem.
Yeah, that's kind of what I imagine he would do if you encountered him.
My first response would be, if that ever happened, would be, okay, dude, calm down. I know you're trying to offer things, and I know you've been doing this repeatedly, and you don't really have a lot of positive situations, but I need you to breathe slowly. Also, you can have the Pepsi. I don't particularly care either one.
What if someone tries to riz them? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to riz the being, if that were to happen. And Dr. Pepper Guy, the stream sniper, yeah, I'm talking about that man, the living legend. That dude stream snipes RL people and just gives them Dr. Pepper.
That's amazing.
He literally travels like countries just to do it too. Like he ended up. It's funny. It's interesting because like he doesn't say anything. He just gives you Dr. Pepper and then walks off. Nothing else.
Dude, if I was an IRL streamer and someone did that, I would want to like turn the rest of the IRL stream into trying to find that person and going down the rabbit hole. I'd be like, Dr. Pepper Guy, come back! Let me get an interview, please!
Someone has tried to do that, but they were stopped immediately because they said, "Let a legend be a legend."
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll a pursued? Said Gargoyle. No, you're wrong on a disadvantage.
Do you want to pursue or do you want to persuade? Are you trying to persuade him?
Passive 20? Nah. Passive.
No, you gotta get that nat 20. You gotta get that nat.
I can roll it right now. Let me get my dice. Hold on. It's like right here. Let me get my ducky
dice. 20 and anything's possible.
All right, let me
get my ducky dice.
At that
That's
point,
rad.
at that point you're just driving the bus with nat 20. You're just like, yeah. So this is what happens.
I got a 13.
Exactly.
That is my. That's actually my lucky number too. Let's go.
Hold on. Let me roll this d20 bullet here. That's a 2.
Everybody's rolling for you, Nox.
That's a 2.
Well, I don't think you want Zeke rolling for you.
I don't
No,
think
you don't. Okay, you don't be rolling bullets. Hold on. Where's my actual dice?
Okay, let me get my ducky
My
dice.
dice are
Let's
too
see,
far away.
D20. I got that voice to pursue him, though you know Pumpkin. Listen, I love any time I can
That's also a 13.
for every character I make in D&D, I always have a high charisma, and I don't know why. I constantly forget I put my main stat in charisma regardless of who I play, and I just go either full gaslighting, or hey look, a silly animal, it's mine now. Let's see, is this D20? Yes, this is a D20. Rolling this. You got a 11. Yeah, no.
Alright, this is gonna be the first roll with my new dice. Let's see, what do I get?
Is it because I killed off Hosness Squeaku? I'm still waiting. I'm still trying to wait to convince you to do a side quest for Hosness Squeaku. The whole group
I got
loved
17.
him. You got 17?
Yes, my magic lamp dice got you a 17, so almost. Almost.
That's
Almost.
the highest out of everyone.
Highest out of it.
They're really pretty. They're swirly, sparkly blue, pink, and purple.
Mines have a rubber ducky in it.
Were those the ones I suggested, or were those other ones?
No, these were. I got these actually when when we went to that one place.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Niche, favorite class in D&D? Now, if I want to go full gaslighting mode, rogue, and don't you sit there and be like, hey, aren't you putting your stats in, like, Dex? Not me. My serious favorite class is usually cleric, if not ranger. I like ranger. Reason why I don't run them too often is because a lot of DMs I dealt with hate rangers for whatever reason.
What?
Yeah, like a couple of DMs I had was like, oh, you know, for a ranger to pop off, some of the areas have to scale based on them, and they don't feel like doing that, so that's why I don't really run ranger.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people have. That's a lot of people, especially DMs or players who are min-maxing a lot of times, and you don't really want to do that.
Do you
don't
ever
wanna
see me
have an
min-max?
No, you
Do you-
don't want to have an empty shell of
No.
a character.
Like
No,
I'm genuinely
characters
like
should not be min-max.
like,
This isn't a
I'm-
video game.
like I'm genuinely like asking you, Seek, have you ever seen me min-max anything other than like gaslighting? Like, come on.
No, like that's the thing is that a lot of DMs
No,
or
it's not
players will
fun.
have that process, and that's why people try to avoid certain
No.
things. And it's very senseless for somebody to do that, and especially have to make everyone else suffer because they decided to do that.
The only one time where I genuinely understand like a class being banned is like a cleric, but then again, you know, cleric's already a powerful
No.
class. Like in our wonderful Nock library here. Well, I'm in like I'm in his campaign. I'm running a wonderful
Mhm.
cleric. I'm not going down the broken route. I'm just going for the full support since, you know, our team doesn't look like they have a support, but I wanted to play a support anyway since.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also contemplate whether or not I want to derail my quest and just get a wish spell to bring back Hosness Squeaku. I still want to say this with all my heart. A roll in 11 should not have killed Squeaku. I don't care. Anyone can say otherwise, but bro, 11 should not have killed Squeaku. He's probably like looking at the stream, shaking his head as I say this.
Just throw the deck of many things into the equation and just unbalance the whole game.
Yeah, you rolled 11 against a literal god, bro. I do not. Listen, regardless
Yeah.
if it was a god or not, right? 11 is 11. It still shouldn't have killed. Squeaku wasn't that weak. Yes, I may have to pull him off the street, and I may have just shoved him in my pocket against their free will, but they shouldn't die that easily.
Michi, you know I love you, but no, if it's against the literal god, you definitely needed higher than an 11.
He was a rat. Yes, he was
cheese to
my.
meet you.
He was my. He wasn't just any rat. He was my rat.
He was.
But yes, that is pretty much the end of the story as far as the gargoyle goes. By the way.
Okay.
So yeah, there's not a whole lot of information on. The family kind of just like went missing after the whole thing happened. Yeah.
Just
Give us the
because he
breaks.
was a rat doesn't mean it's weak. A rat, basically rat for the drama game.
Well-
Listen. The rat can win.
Maybe if the rat had rolled like a 17. But
Maybe
not
if
with
the-
an 11.
Maybe if the rat was a dragoon, they might have won.
Listen, to give you context, I wanted Hasna. So I was hearing a song, right? Because there was like a small time like singing or whatever, like a small whisper. And I was like, "Hey, Hasna Squeaku, you should sing back." And they did. I rolled 11, and they just disappeared from my like shoulder. Apparently, their
Yes.
singing was so bad that the thing just had to be like, "Yeah, no, we're killing you off." I mean, I did say if you roll a 15 or higher, you have won. That is true, but my luck that entire...
Oh.
I feel like that luck that entire game was like pretty bad, to be honest.
I still say you should have been allowed to cosmetically have the rat perk into Bard.
That's why I literally DM that knock about it, and hold on, let me bring this up so I can quote this, right? Just so I can quote this too, because I wrote an entire statement on it, and I was like, starting with the statement, "Hey, I got a question about D&D, if it's fine for me to ask." He said, "Yeah." I was like, "Can I make my rat into a bard class if it's possible?" He said, "No, pumpkin, it's a rat. But hear me out. If dogs can have magic, why can't rats?" He was like, "No, hearing out. It is a rat off the streets, as much as I love him. But my beloved rat, no free bard inspiration."
Oh, that's the thing. Cosmetically perk into a Bard. You don't need the abilities from it.
And that's what I said. No, that's not what I want. I want the max out performance and let him sing. And yes, it's a he. I'm not the broken magic route. He's like, no, we're not doing that, sadly. He can just sing he can just sing any way if someone casts something. I said, noted. And that was the end of the conversation.
He can just squeak his little heart out.
And he died because of it. And now my character's quest is to get the flat out wish spell just to bring them back. Because if the necromancer brings them back, they're gonna die in 10 minutes. Permanently. May I add?
Yo, Nietzsche, let me voice Hatsune Squeaku if they come back. I'll say Miku quotes. You'll have to hook me up with some Miku quotes, and I'll just say it in my normal voice. I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm Hatsune Squeaku. That's me."
I'm Hatsune Squeaku. Oh, and Squeak.
Squeak.
Yeah, like,
Just the
squeak,
most
squeak,
monotone
squeak.
way, just squeak. He said he's currently a pile of bones. We have a necromancer, yes. Miku squeak. Yeah.
I have a guitar, a mandolin, and a ukulele. I will strum any of those that you want me to whenever I voice Hatsune Squeaku.
Just flat out like add you on call. Hey, Husna Squeak, you want to say something, and it's just you.
I'm like, yeah. I just
No,
wanted to say, where's the cheese at? Yeah.
No, Frog. What you need to do anytime. What does this character have to do? You plug in your guitar through a MIDI cable to your computer. Let that become your mic, and you just do a high E fucking hum with a whammy.
Absolutely.
Bro, okay. So our next wonderful person should be Fel, right? Mike to Fel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any visual aids with this because like here's the thing. Wherever you go in the world, people might talk about it. People might talk about them, may have encountered them. They have different shapes, they have different names. It all depends on where you are. But it is pretty commonly accepted across the world that if you've erected yourself some sort of home, some sort of domicile, however it may be constructed, and whatever it may be constructed of, wherever it may be constructed.
It could be 4 to 16 refrigerator cardboard boxes, and it will still be one.
It could be, yeah.
It could be a fridge.
That still counts, right?
I love the look on your face as I said it could be a fridge.
I mean, look, just don't seal it, otherwise you'll suffocate. But no, it is commonly believed that houses become inhabited by little sprites. And again, these can have many different names depending on where you go. They can be called brownies. The original kobold was one of these as well.
Go.
Domovoi is another name for it, as well as Nisei.
The short people.
They are considerably shorter than even the shortest person that you know.
If I see a sprite and they make the I got spite
Sorry,
joke,
I had to turn around and look at Maeve for a second. I'm sorry.
It's cute. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's okay.
Shorter than Vel. Me and Vel's the same height, dude. Please calm.
So again, and then there's even some cultures that will worship the sprites and consider them the home gods, depending on the culture. And like, even if you go back to like ancient Roman times, they all believed that every home had its own set of deities as well. So the thing that's a common thread amongst these little guys is that they're typically harmless. They tend to pull little pranks on occasion. They'll help with things. They'll help with little things here and there. And you typically want to try to stay on their good side, because if you piss them off, then they're gonna make your life kinda hard. Harder than, it maybe already is. So, it's always good. It's always good to be nice. Have you ever found where, like, maybe it's just your brain. Maybe you did really forget where something was. But like, you remember having a shirt. But where is it? You've searched literally everywhere. Like, you have torn your place apart and you cannot find this shirt. Where'd it go?
No.
You know you had it at some point. But where is it?
That's me with my socks. That's literally me with my socks. Like, it's always like like my favorite sock. I had like one sock. It was a Pokemon sock. It was my favorite of all time. And one of them went missing. And I kid you not, that entire week I had nothing but bad luck. I stubbed my toe. I tripped down the stairs. I got bit by my cat, which, that's kind of normal cat behavior. But a lot of crazy things. I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, bro, this is not normal. I know I have bad luck in games and that, but this is not normal.
Also, Duke, no, you should absolutely say thank you. What do you mean? The best thing to do when you can't find something is to just very politely, very, very kindly say, "Hey, I am looking for X thing. If you borrowed it, that's totally okay. I just need it back now. I would really appreciate it." And then go about, if you want to keep like trying to find it, sure. Or just go do something else for 5 minutes. I would say with like a 93% success rate, I have found the thing. Like, within the next 5 minutes. And then I'm always like, thank you!
That is actually crazy, though.
Oh,
You're also You are also like super respectful to everybody, though.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
like it's
I
hard
mean,
for you to be mean to anyone. I'd be surprised if you were mean to somebody, honestly.
But no, but I'm serious. I'm serious. Next time you've lost something, I encourage you to try it. Maybe it'll show up. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. But the thing is like they will also leave you gifts. Though, maybe that's a good point though. Don't leave them gifts. Sorry, I thought you meant like literally say thank you. Because I was gonna get to the gift part, but yeah, don't leave them gifts, but accept gifts that they give you. What's this for you?
Just like me, for real.
No, but like you're sharing a living space though. Like that's the thing you gotta remember. They may not be paying rent, but it don't matter because you can't enforce that on them. So you're sharing a living space. So like if let's say your roommate borrowed something from you, you would just politely ask for it back.
It's
right? Like it's not the same. There's no malicious intent.
it's like living with a vampire and your tone was a little too rough. Like you don't want that, right? If they borrow something from you, you don't want to sound like that person who like trying to start problems. Like remember
Exactly.
especially in a living situation like that, right? This is probably like common sense, but the worst you can do is have everybody be pissed at you and you're forced to live with them for like a long time. That's the worst that can happen. We don't want that.
This is one of the times you should follow the advice of the subby bunny and be really nice and say please and thank you.
I mean, there's always
Because,
begging.
I mean, listen, like the spread.
Look, we're not getting that far.
The spreads sound nice, right? Like they do sound nice, and like I would definitely not want to upset them at all. But I am just curious, what would a sprite possibly be doing with my shirt? That ain't gonna fit them. They little bitty.
Well, no, I know, but they just.
Why did I just hear Subby Bunny?
Welcome to stream.
Welcome to the stream,
Hello.
Knock. Welcome to First Time Fell stream. You're gonna hear many and many things that may not be limited to. Hold on, we have a quote section in the server, right? We have a quote section somewhere. Hold on. Well, let me pull this up. Which may or may not limited to, I gotta inject myself with all the dirty syringes. Shark, it must be done. Fell 2025.
Yeah. there are some famous quotes in there by various different people. Some of them live rent-free in people's heads, and those are the ones that we want to have shared. Some of the most wildest things ever said by anyone.
Like, get bigger balls, quoted by Seek.
Yeah.
I know I said something wild before. I'm trying to see where Dad at. Hold on. I've quoted Doggo, put some whipped cream on you. And then...
I'm trying to keep it as tame as possible for the
Okay, well,
crew.
There's the squeaky hinge incident, you said you got some mineral oil or WD-40 for that stuff. That was the door, not my bones.
That was the door, not my bruh.
Welcome to the Cryptid Crew podcast, where we talk about nothing but cryptids, folklore, and submissive tendencies.
Get that. I'm a fat ass and they're tiny little pixies. Why would they want my shirt?
Because they just like stuff. They just
okay,
like
dude,
stuff,
dude. Yes, just because I got my friend's mom phone number doesn't mean I got Riz. Okay, calm down.
You have so much Riz. Oh my gosh.
Nishi, I think you should be the one who's calming down. Who should be calming down? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Perchance.
Perhaps.
Perchance.
May chance. Perhaps.
See, but like, dude, that's just what they like to do. They just
They just want free stuff. They just want to borrow it and then just give it back. Like, it's not that bad.
Okay, so I got a real question.
Yeah.
Though. Like, what if someone's like really paranoid and thinks that like the sprites are like like treating him as a fool, and they like go crazy and they start tearing up their walls looking for the sprites. Do you think that'd be an adequate way to find them and therefore your stuff?
No.
No.
No, because they bring it into a small little pocket dimension that is not found.
No.
Yeah.
Something tells
That's
me
fair.
this is something you would do, Frog.
I'm like, I
feel
want
like
my shirt back.
Like I said, they should be approached with kindness and respect, and there's a really good chance you're gonna get your shit back.
I mean, there's always begging. There's always begging. Just get on your knees. Just please, 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 please.
As long as you're nice about it.
I'm like, please.
Nietzsche, I'm a little bit surprised. Nietzsche, I'm a little bit surprised your first response is to get on your knees. Okay.
Would that not be
That's
like
usually
your
my
first response? Would that not be like anyone's first response? Hey yo, pumpkin. Like, listen, knock, listen. There's no better way to say please than getting on your knees, having your hands together, and just start screaming please nonstop. Is that not how you guys say please? Like, come on. I can't be the only one who actually thinks this.
I got it in 4K.
Got it.
Hey,
Bro.
everyone should take a quick moment to hydrate.
What?
Alright. Cheers, everyone.
No,
I'm
I
cracking
only-
my bottle of water right now.
Let me fix that.
I only
for
use
Mel.
I only use my voice for extended periods of times in different ways without drinks of water until the day later. No, I'm kidding.
I
Don't
tapped the side of my plastic water bottle with my finger to declare a toast. This one goes out to the Cryptid crew and an amazing episode 4. We still have some time to go, of course, but I would like to raise a toast. Not only good people, good stories, and coffee that is still somehow warm on the center of this table that none of us have drank, even though we had to have it. And then all of you for being here. Thank you so much. All right, I'm drinking the water now. Let's go.
Okay, but the real thing is that coffee. It's got to be a self-heating mug.
Yeah, of course.
Only secret.
Leave that to me, buddy boy, bro. Listen, I like to say I play all roles, top, mid, bot, and jungle, and support. That's just me.
Oh, Nietzsche.
They asked me my favorite position. I said jungle.
Yeah, I was about to see me run down jungle.
What?
I do have a question about some of these redeems. Oh, just look at it and just accept it as fact.
Okay, Rose, I do
promise.
need to ask that you don't spam the sound redeems, please. Otherwise, I will have to put you on timeout.
Yes, Nugget.
So if you do another one, it will be a timeout, please. That's unnecessary. Thank you.
Trying to... Okay, then, I was thinking of it. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little, genuinely a little confused. I'm assuming we're gonna lead the mic to our wonderful Seek.
Wait, it's me already?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't done? Oh, you weren't done? Oh.
I didn't think we're done.
Oh, my bad.
So it's okay.
My bad. I got so confused with all like a 5-minute to 7-minute side tangent.
Yeah, I mean we were just side tangenting.
Oh, whole
That's
side
okay.
quest. All right, Mel, your conversation don't matter. All right, so my story.
No,
go
I'm
do
sorry.
yourself. Go
I'm sorry.
complete what you were saying.
So again, being polite and respectful for requesting your stuff back does tend to help. There's also beliefs that these can act a bit as guardians as well. So if you do get on their good side, right? If you if they like you, they will also do little things to try to keep your home protected. So that can even be as simple as like keeping pests away. Or, acting as wards against wanderers.
Ironic enough, my cat's supposed to be taking care of the pest, but one of them's a fat lard and the other one's just the other one.
I was gonna say something that seemed a little mean, but I meant it with all the greatest respect, which was, they're supposed to take care of the pest. Why are they attacking you?
Yeah. Either none exist in this little pool house, or I did something to piss them off. I don't know.
What if it's because you don't consider it a home? Like, what if deep down you're absolutely not convinced that it's a home? Like, what if it's not about putting it, like, the crafting table by the furnace? Maybe it's about your heart. Maybe it's where your heart's at. Maybe it's not strong enough.
I mean, maybe, given, all of my circumstances, I think that is entirely possible. But yeah, that is one of the things they can do. They also, like, will do things to try to, like, actively help as well. So, let's say that you've got maybe, like, your fridge sometimes makes weird noises, right? And you're like, is my fridge like gonna break? And then suddenly it stops doing that, and everything's good.
I just think it's the voices usually, but yeah, that too.
There've been like anecdotal like stories of things like that where they thought that they were gonna have a problem with something, or they did. There was an active problem. There, was a leaky pipe that they knew they were gonna have to fix on the weekend. But the weekend comes around, and there's no more leak. So
Nietzsche.
Yeah,
there was something you said like a few seconds.
Oh no, I said like, so my fridge is super old, right?
Yeah.
And every time you close it, it makes a very odd sound. And
Okay.
I keep making this joke to like my brother that it's the voices speaking again, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a small hiss.
If the fridge has voices coming from it, you might want to see some professional about that, because I think you might need an exorcist.
I just think it's when I'm home alone long enough. Maybe it's just paranoia. Maybe
You're home alone long enough, the fridge starts speaking.
I just found it really weird because it was like saying like my name and stuff, and it was like really weird. Like I don't even know how I knew that.
Maybe it's telling me to eat more. maybe it's that.
Probably.
It's waiting until you find the bait lure, and then it eats you.
Mimic be like.
All right, so real talk, Nietzsche. Real talk, real quick.
Yeah.
So so we actually talked about these sprites. We're still talking about it. But like, in relation to that, so like, what if you heard a knock on your door like one night, and you're the only one at home? You're like, oh, that's weird. But like, you don't see anything outside the door. You're like, that's weird. I don't see anything. What's going on? And you open up your door and you see that it's a little tiny person, really tiny person, and they look like they're injured and they're scared, and they're like. Nietzsche, I have come to recruit ye. And you're like, what? And they're like, we need help. The evil wizard, Zeltar has kidnapped the rest of us, and that's why we're not in your house, and that's why we can't help you with the chores and stuff, Nietzsche. That's why your fridge is haunted, Nietzsche. You have to help us, please. Would you do it?
So, for one, if it's like 12 a.m., I would give him a hard stare. It's like, let me at least get my perfect pajama pants, the Lent War thing, and I mean, he's small enough to be a sprite. Bruh, 5'6" is not that short. Leave me alone. The next thing you know, he's gonna be like, my people.
I mean,
and then I forgot this is actually important.
That does qualify as carry-on size for most planes. So okay.
True. And I forgot that's important, Nietzsche, because you are 5'6". He looks at you and he says, "Oh, and also I see that you could possibly join our ranks. I'll put you to the test. You see, so if you pass, then you could join us if you'd like, Nietzsche. Wouldn't that be great?"
Bedbug, thank you for the bits. Joe Pineapple. interesting state. I don't know if I can say that, bro. Listen, just because I look at someone and be like, man, you're bigger than me. Like at my job, so apparently from what my coworker said, he feels like I get intimidated by everyone. And first time I meet this guy, right? He's a big teddy bear. He's a sweetheart. This man is like maybe like 6.5, probably a little taller. This man towers over me. He's like, "What up?" And apparently one time I looked scared to him, and he's like, "Homie, are you good?" And I was like, "I'm just tired, and everyone's big to me to begin with." He's like, "So you get intimidated by tall people? Good to know." And he never lets it down. So like, there's just constant jokes at the job about me being short. So like, all because of that, of one hiccup. Never forget RPD station. I curse RPD station.
Belle, I have a way to help you solve that. Okay. Okay. Are you ready for this help? It's 100% foolproof. Okay, and I will tell you early on. If you pay attention to all of my instructions 100%, you will thank me later.
Okay.
This is a good advice.
That's good advice. So for one, you want to open up your screen. You should see an eBay. You want to look up eBay and then click on it. Then you're going to type in the following statement: compound crossbow.
No.
You then are gonna order said compound crossbow.
Nishi, that's not the instructions. I've already given the instructions. How are you feeling, Belle?
What? The instructions just hold your breath and don't move? Because that's what I've
No.
trying to do.
I just need you to listen to my instructions, okay? All right. Don't do anything else. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some very clear instructions, and I need you to follow them to the letter. You don't have to thank me once it's figured out or anything like that. You can thank me at any other time later on, okay? Just, you need to listen to me. Okay? Are you prepared for these instructions?
Yes.
You've followed them already.
What?
What? What?
Huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
How you feeling?
Man,
Confused?
I'm just thinking
Good.
about that coffee over there.
See, it Belle can't hiccup if you're brah. That's not a good.
You know, that's fair. That's fair.
No, not that. Replace hiccups with confusion. That's smart.
I don't know. I still kind of like feel it in my chest, but like, it's procking. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah? Okay. That's good. Just if you keep following these instructions, you'll get it solved, okay?
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what the instructions are.
Don't worry, you've already done them.
I feel it reminds me of like the gaslighting jokes. Like, have you heard of the joke about the gaslighter and just say, yeah, you have.
See this. I love it.
Gaslight me.
I love it because it works about 100% of the time.
I mean, it didn't work the first time, but it sure worked the second time.
Yeah, it worked because you were already trying to do something else while I was telling you to no, don't do that. Follow the instructions.
Follow the instructions.
You followed the instructions. You were too busy with other things. If you just followed my instructions, look what happens.
You're right. Yeah. You are. You're right.
But no, Frog, I don't think I would get like if a short person says join our ranks, I would have a mental breakdown. I'm gonna be honest.
But he says that you're the promised one. Like you're the one he's been waiting on this whole time. Like,
Then I'm forced to do it. I didn't say I wasn't gonna do it. I have a mental
awesome.
breakdown, but I
So now-
wasn't. Come on, that's a side quest waiting to happen. Like I have to.
So
like
now you and the sprites are friends, and they give you a +1 sword for your cooperation. There you go. That's what happens.
Just hand me like a very poorly made sword that looked like it made out of cardboard.
Yeah, but it's like +1 though, so it's gonna be good. But anyway, Vel, sorry about that. That was an important little question, you know. A little emphasis
No,
on
no,
quest.
that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, and like finishing up on the vein of protection and stuff. The Alex from Central America, which are based in Mayan myths.
Okay.
Would actually be like really wary of strangers, and these are ones where if a stranger did come in, or you knew you were gonna have a stranger visiting, adding like a small little offering to the Alex in advance would help them to be less wary. Like, you know, you some offering and let them know that like there will be someone coming into the home, and potentially like staying there for a bit, because otherwise they would absolutely fuck the shit up of this random person that has now entered their home. So, and people would actually build little homes in the, like, somewhere on the property. They preferred the cornfield. But
Why do everything
for
come
the
so
Alex
different?
specifically?
That's
I mean,
awesome.
cornfields
That's
are great.
always the
There's like
cornfield.
food and stuff.
Yeah, but the second you
And
put a
protection,
scarecrow
because
in the
it's small.
cornfield, it's a problem.
Look. The tall
it
grass is
doesn't-
both a bad and a good thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, these aren't freeloaders, Ace. They help you. They do little things for you. I mean, they also borrow your shit, but you know, who doesn't?
Something tells me that if they're not making like any type of money off rent for the short people, they would be offended.
You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that I'm not that
Friends
short. So,
You are blessed, though, by the Almighty One.
oh, thanks. So yeah, there's definitely lots of different things, especially and my one last thing is when you move into a new place, if you are lucky, you will actually be left little gifts by the sprites if they welcome you. It's a good way to gauge to like what the vibe of the place is, because like you'll know pretty quick if the vibes are off from a place. So if you ever like, I don't know how often you guys have moved. I've moved like just so fucking much in my life.
I have, and I remember the first time I entered the place, I stubbed my toe. So
like maybe the vibes were off there.
I wouldn't say off. I would say like, man, I don't even know you and you're spiting me.
I wouldn't say off. I mean, I would say a little bit more of like tilted sideways out of spite.
I feel like that table was pushed a little bit to the left a little. Like it had to.
But you know, if you're like looking around the place and something just kind of like rolls out of nowhere towards you, like a little button, or
I would just
you know,
casually
maybe-
walk in the opposite direction because
Yeah,
I
me
don't know
too.
what happened.
I play too
that's
much
a
horror
sign.
games. That's a bad
a sign. Of
sign.
being like, hello. No, it's not.
If you
That's absolutely not.
Done.
what's
Chucks the whole ass ball at you, then yeah.
like if you walk.
You got
The little
thrown.
thing.
So picture this: it's 3 a.m. You walk into the kitchen, right? You're getting water. You see this button just rolls towards you. Are you not gonna think it's a ghost or something? Like you would panic and go the opposite direction immediately. That's our survival
it's-
instinct. I don't think anyone would.
It's typically not at like 3 a.m. Like there they're not active in the degen hours like, you know, some of us here. They like to do stuff during the day, you know.
They're not going to see me then because I'm mostly in that bed.
Well, so then you'll probably just miss it.
Hold up, I'm gonna be right back.
I'm going
Okay.
to leave. I'm going to leave my puppet coil here. Hold up, I'm gonna go non-verbal for a sec. Here we go. Whoa.
The person who's controlling the Muppet had to walk away for a minute.
We lost him. He has been.
You get up early enough to steal your socks out the dryer. My socks were actually in the dryer at like 1 a.m. yesterday, so they need to stay up late if they're gonna get my socks out of the dryer. Otherwise, I can just take them out of the drawer, or in the like 5 to 7 business days that it takes for me to actually put it away.
That's why they didn't steal them.
You know,
Took his
No,
hand
no,
off
no,
the-
no, no, no. See, we just do the process I have here. Things sometimes take 5 to 7 business years. Okay.
This is making me want to learn all my cryptid lores again. Yeah, as I had talked to you like before, like I love folklore and I love cryptids. Like they're very interesting to like listen to and like talk about. And as I said before, folklore also falls into the same line as scary stories in that. Since, you know, some of the scary stories that we enjoy on YouTube is some form of folklore. Like I said, I mostly get into native folklore, if not Japanese folklore. A lot of them are really, really good. And I do say in terms of how likely you are to get murked, Japanese would be on the top because almost everything wants to kill you.
So the Japanese do also have their own variants of these as well.
Yeah, they have like a bunch of stuff. Like I would say at least like I'd say 80 page. If we have to put it in a book form, I would say like 80 pages, just the names alone and not details about it. I know so much British cryptid lore as well. Elmay, yeah. British is
Are you perhaps
interesting.
British?
Here I am. What's up?
Would say the direction between
That
folklore.
is
What would you say is the distinct between folklore and myth? Norse legend versus native?
So folklore
I-
is stories and accounts of a lot of things that have happened in the area and a lot of things that do have some grounding. Myths, on the other hand, are stories told to teach lessons.
Now, if we start with folklores, folklore's not usually written. Most of the time, they're usually told by traditions, like, you know, like a simple storyteller. Usually it's customs, beliefs, or practices. For example, the Wendigo, the Windy monster, right? That type of story is mostly, if you look at it as a fundamental, it's about not being greedy, not like succumbing to gluttony and eating too much or eating other people. That's the whole fundamental of that whole story. It's similar to the Raven Mocker. Hey, do not flat out like take from the dead or, you know, try to take advantage of someone while they're like down. Myths are usually worldwide culture type of thing. It has a universe, it explained the creation of humans, you know, nature of supernatural entities like Greek mythology, where they literally said that Poseidon was the king of the
ocean.
or god of the ocean, right? Or water?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, that
like that type of
that
deal.
is mythology. That is mythology because it is taught. It teaches you a lesson.
And that's the main difference between, you know, flat out Norse like mythology, Japanese mythology, because keep in mind, even though some of the things do have mythologies, folklore still is separate from them. That's the main difference.
Yeah. To further expand upon that, a lot of mythological stories, such as like the Greek gods, Norse mythology, all that stuff, all have a lesson involved with their storylines, which explain accounts of things that have happened and the results of their actions, usually as something deciding to oppose them. Folklore, things like the Mothman and stuff like that, which are also cryptids, are usually physical entities and stories told by word of mouth, not recorded. With a lot of accounts of certain things that are going on, these things can be natural phenomenon. They could be anything going from that category, but they aren't a lesson per se. They do contain lessons and sometimes, but they are something that usually has like a tradition behind it, something that has happened. Mothman foretold a lot of bad things that happened, and a lot of those things were due to structural integrity and stuff, and that resulted in a lot of things going bad. How they knew about it? No fucking clue. But how come we've never heard from him since or seen him since? We have a little bit, but he hasn't said anything that's been super important.
And it's same thing. And it's same thing with Sasquatch or even some of the other cryptid / folklore. There's only some like small accounts. Keep in mind, because when we tell our stories about what we research, we always sit there and say, this is just like the research I found, and this is from like, you know, what they say. Because we gotta take like what we read with a grain of salt. It's not always true. Not only that, two people will always see the same story differently and will tell it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So mine does, some of that does come from first-hand account though. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. In this case, I'm mixing some folklore with my actual experiences,
which is amazing. And God, ocean, horse, and earthquake. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I will be right back. Keep
perfect.
going.
And when you come back, it is your turn, because that about wraps me up.
And then over time, stories are mudded and details are lost and distorted. That is extremely true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like even like back then, like people don't talk about the Raven Mocker like that. There's probably like some other meaning about it behind it back then that isn't really accounted for. The same thing for the Windy Monster and Skinwalker. There's probably other things about it that we don't really see, but we can only go off by the recorded history, whatever films and books that was made during that time to really take into account. So you have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt.
The best example of how things can get lost over time. I think I probably mentioned this before, but the fact that we don't know what we originally called bears. The word bear means brown one. The actual word for bear has been lost because people were too afraid to say it because they thought it would summon a bear to you, and bears are terrifying.
I feel like bears are okay. Polar bears, though.
Oh no! All bears are spooky.
Wraps you up or ropes you up. Hurrah. Look, it's a big... Like, you see a Mothman on top and you just point and be like, hey, look!
See Mothman across the Golden Gate Bridge. That's a huge bitch!
Is maybe don't go kissing bears. Maybe don't do it.
Giving a tiger a little shove is not good, guys.
Don't do it.
All right,
Zeke.
Okay, so, I feel like I have been horribly unprepared for a lot of this stuff. I had a lot going on in the last week, including going to some places that have been a good excitement of things. So I had to try to figure out something of more of a personal account of things. I know normally conversations are about cryptids and stuff, and a lot of like local things. I guess this kind of qualifies as a local thing because it was an area where I used to live. Now, I don't live there anymore, so that's the thing. I live in Silent Hill. Good luck trying to figure out where that is now.
I wish this was a joke, but it's not.
But the thing is that the account that I have is actually of a particular place known as the Cornwall County Jail. Now, this place I found out it's a little bit older than I thought. But I found out it ran longer than what it was. It initially did, or at least got decommissioned at some point. But yes, it was founded. This place was founded in 1833 as an actual jailhouse and stuff. Now, I found out recently, which explains some of my things. It was completely decommissioned, shut down, and vacated by 2002.
Oh, shit.
2002.
All right.
It's been running since 1833.
Oh.
That's actually
Now-
interesting. 1830. I would have thought they would not even shut down, but like more as remodel. I would think.
Oh no, they did not. Would you like me to get you a photo of this place of like what it looked like back in 1833 and what it looked like what it looks like? Back
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they shut it down in 2002. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you
okay,
had
I
the
can do
picture,
that.
let me
Okay.
see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
some images, and we'll put them up on the stream.
Yeah. It's again. Keep in mind, I don't live here anymore. All right, so good luck trying to figure it out. 18. This is.
I try to
Yeah,
stress
okay.
for 1
This-
second. My model have a midlife crisis for 1 second.
Oh no!
Let me save this image here. This will be a little bit blurry, but
That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. And then if I go here, and then I go to this one, I'm gonna save this image.
Nietzsche's too scared. He's like his model is like, you
It's
gotta
like
quit
a little
talking
bit
about this.
fucking-
It's getting late. I have to go to bed. Don't talk about this.
No, this isn't like okay. So we're gonna use the. I'm gonna send both, okay? But like, you guys can tell that like, what you can use the older one for the sake of this because I kind of like the look of the older one, but you can see it's largely remained unchanged.
Someone said
so-
congrats on getting out of prison.
No,
Bro.
okay. I was not in prison, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, the place has largely remained unchanged. Between the photos.
All right, I'm gonna work on getting these images up, but please
Yeah.
continue.
So I explained this place because this is a very real place. But this is it is only known to roughly a specific area. This place actually, well, for lack of better words, this place is haunted as fuck. Okay.
It's
Noted.
And
Noted.
I say that because a lot of like very aggressive and malicious people were stored here throughout history. And normally I'm a person who's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of common for these places. But there were some people throughout all of its history that had done crazy things, even while in this place. Things like apparently in 1935, 4 prisoners managed to escape from it and were never found.
Oh, fuck.
There was another point where another person who was blamed for causing a series of murders managed to cheat the death sentence by suicide of himself. There was a lot of other things that went on in here that are not very good. I'm not going to really go into all of the information, but I am going to go into the experience I had when a couple of friends and I around the time before it was like turned into kind of like a more of like a touring spot, and it was still more of just like the ruins of a place a little
Okay.
bit. Like it was 2002, it was decommissioned. It still looks into that image of to like 2002, like it's pretty
yeah, it still
moderned
looks
up
the
and everything else.
same. I just feel
Yeah,
like
it-
the only reason why it looks different is I take a lot of pictures. I do like
Yeah.
photography, and I do say the black and white is what gives off like the old feeling. But
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
in
yeah.
mind, like back then, we literally had black and white cameras, and not only that,
Yeah.
the weather also looks like it has some effect of the picture, which you can tell. But to also go on that, like most of the time, the place isn't going to look different if it's still well kept up. Like you said, they're
Yeah,
using it as a tourist spot, so I mean, I would hope they well kept up the outside at least.
So Yeah, I haven't seen the place since I've gone back there, but like again, it's been largely unchanged in its design, both interior and exterior for the most part. And a lot of the around the point whenever it was just kind of like everything was vacated and stuff, there was still like a couple of like things that were whatever, but there was like nobody there. Now, I and a group of friends actually kind of snuck into the place and decided we were going to stay in there because we had heard a bit of like there was some pretty bad happenings or something like that. And we just decided, you know, we're just a bunch of stupid kids. We're gonna sneak into this place and just kind of like chill out in here for however long. Oh boy, that resulted in a whole hell of a lot of stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you in accounts of certain people who have went in there and discovered certain things, but I'm also going to tell you my accounts of what I found. Now, there's a TV, like an old CR2 TV, like a caveman TV, the big block ones.
You mean the one that could like take anyone out?
The one that
Perfect
you
for
needed
retro
like
setups.
yeah, you need the retro old school TV with the glass panel, the laser beam thing that goes through the refract. You know what I'm talking about. Most people do, I would assume.
Yeah.
This thing was deshelled, gutted of all electronics, and all that was left was basically just the screen and the shell needed for the thing and the beam like attachment on that piece. Like there was no electronics in this thing whatsoever. It was like the night that we went there, it was like a Thursday night or whatever else, and it was really bad because apparently while we were in the main office, something decided to power that TV and then rotate the panels to change channels.
Oh.
Yeah. Well.
Okay. Now, that's pretty weird. We're like, okay, it's got to be like whatever else. So we turned it off. It's not even plugged in. There's no cable. There's nothing. There's no technology. So how it did this, unknown to us. Okay?
It must have been the wind.
Yeah, it must have been the wind.
Man, I must
I was
have had
like,
one too many
was it-
monsters.
Was it... oh, this is before I had monsters. Okay? Okay, so like this... I thought like my buddy, I'm just gonna insert name here, Tyler or whatever else, decided he was gonna like turn it on whenever we were else, because we were just like, we're gonna just like chill in here, kind of like mess around, kind of get some rest or whatever else, because we didn't want to go back home. We were street kids, you know, you kind of get the idea of things.
Yeah.
No, no. We decided we were gonna. That was the first fuck uppery of things, and now again, there was a lot of aggressive people in this that went and died and stuff. Like there were a lot of things. You can actually look
That
this
was a
place
prison.
up and find a lot of information about it. It was a prison, yes.
Yeah.
Me just
That's
roaming
not
the
been great.
hall. Yeah, me just roaming the halls. I had very bad feelings of a lot of things going through it. And I'm not saying like as an empath or anything. Like I just felt like there was somebody still in there, some people still in there. And a
You
lot of
felt
it
like-
was just like
I'm sorry.
ahead.
I was going to say you felt like you were being watched and felt like, you know, maybe something's there and you just you feel them watching you, but you don't see them type of feeling.
I had a very distinct feeling that when I was traveling through this place, even though I wasn't supposed to, none of us were supposed to be in the building, that there was someone, some people, or some things still in the building, and that was not very good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this, right? You enter a restricted area, you would at least have a feeling of, you know, someone roaming the halls with you. That's a reasonable fear, but like from how you're wording it, it goes beyond that. It's more as the okay, I feel like I'm being watched, but I'm not like 100% sure, which is probably worse.
Yeah. There were spots that are in like the lower floors, like the lower basement areas, and these are not good places because these are where they kept like the higher aggressive prisoners, the people who had to be in isolation or solitary confinement and all that stuff. And I remember going down the stairs, personally, like I took the stairs going down, and right from the stairs they have one of these isolation rooms, right? And the door was partially open. And I was like, okay, so it must have been left because, you know, whatever else that they were going on. and they just haven't closed it, or they just wanted to leave it open for other reasons and stuff like that. But I remember distinctly feeling something was definitely there, and looking through the doorway, I could swear that there was something in that room.
Probably was.
Probably was, yeah.
Probably was.
Yeah.
Upon a couple of my friends, they found a couple of other weird things that were going on, like lights were activating in certain areas. The technology in the place was not designed for a lot of like motion sensors and stuff like that. Everything had to be manual, because if it was motion sensors, that would fuck up a lot of things. It was really, really bad, but like a lot of them looked at, like I said, hey, look, there's something I don't want to go down these stairs because there is something in one of these rooms. And then again, buddy Tyler, he's whatever else. He's like the tough kid. He's the really strong guy, whatever else like that. He's
Yeah.
People have seen me and they call me a stick because I'm like generally very thin, and that's fine. He's a very bulky guy. He's tall. He's like bigger, wider shoulders than I am. He goes, you know what? There can't be anything that bad down there. He goes down there.
Yeah.
He goes
Oh, no.
into that room.
Oh no. Mm-hmm.
And like for a good bit, like he just stood in there. Like he stood like 3-5 feet away from the door, like inside the room. And he kind of just turned around, and then he's like, "Yeah, no, I ain't doing this, Chief. This ain't it." And I was sitting there going, like, "Yeah, no shit." Wearing your finest tap out T-shirt, Tyler would have done that. He absolutely would have.
It did.
Yeah.
I am the ghost puncher. Watch
Get-
out, you.
He was like, no, whatever you were saying, you're definitely right, but it's not in that room, he says. And I'm sitting there going, what do you mean? He goes, when I entered the room, he goes, when I entered the room, there was like, definitely I felt like it was in the corner right next to the door. But as soon as he pushed the door wider than it was, he felt like something ran out, but he couldn't tell what it was. Again, there's not a lot of light in the lower confinement areas, and I did not see this. I was like, yeah, I ain't going back there. But like I saw it from the top of the stairs, like just him standing there.
Yeah.
A lot of accounts, especially when I did the personal looking out of different things. Apparently, the lower confinements, there was some prisoner there that was so aggressive that his aggression remained echoing in the, like it's described as his aggression was remaining echoing in the halls, to the point that it manifested itself as a form of demon inside this lower floor.
That kind of reminds me of some native myths as well, where they said if there's like a strong enough negative energy, it will like stay there permanently.
Yes.
So that's why shamans are like so important in that.
Yeah. And a lot of like Japanese mythology says the more that you neglect something or whatever else, that can also give it life. This was definitely something that we felt. We felt this whole place just, we were there, and it felt like whatever was looking for us, finding us, following us, watching us, or anything else was judging us like all the other prisoners who were there had judged each other. Why are they in here? What did they do? All this stuff like that. And it definitely was not. Yeah, it was not a good feeling. One of my friends recounted seeing children. This is the weird part. My friends recounted seeing children running through the halls, and we're like, there can't be. You can't put children as prisoners in here.
If I may, like, cut off on that, you also got like, if we look at the picture from the standpoint, right? Because if we go on what you said, this was a prison in 1800. If I'm correct. Now we don't know what was that in that area before that. That's the one thing. And there's times when places, I'm trying to remember what place it was. There's this one, there was this one documentary that I watched. They made an amusement park in one area, and it was haunted, of course. And they figured out that it was because it was on native land. And what I mean by this, for those who don't know, it's when a lot of, like, very high like religious and natives dies on that land, and as native laws goes, you don't disturb the area where anyone dies. That's bad. Don't do that. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
So that might be what happened in this case, which we don't 100% know because we don't know what happened before that year.
Again, and a lot of this stuff that we were like kind of, not being the most respectful of kids and kind of roaming a place that we shouldn't be. We kind of came to the conclusion that could be just security guards fucking with us or something like that. It could have been anything that was just they were looking for us and we were just slippery enough to keep moving through the halls effectively or anything like that. But no.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't feel
there was
like the way you're telling it doesn't feel like that.
No.
Because it doesn't because because I would imagine opening those doors would make a big creak sound. I would imagine, and not only that, with the way, how you're telling the story is like you weren't really whispering, and you guys are teenagers. I mean, as teenagers, we all were loud and we all done crazy stuff. I would imagine, right? So in this case, where I'm taking my experience, I feel like if it was a security guard, it wouldn't make sense for them not to like intervene and be like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be doing that." It wouldn't make
absolutely,
sense.
Right? Yeah. But whatever it was, it just no. Because as soon as like Buddy Tyler, again, these aren't their names because I'm not gonna out them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's all good.
He was like going back to where we were, the main cells where there's like the TV and stuff. He's like at this point, the TV turning on its own and just trying to change channels was kind of like that was the least of our worries. It still irked us because we felt like thing, but it was like the least. Like someone wants to watch TV, okay, cool, whatever, fuck it, let him watch whatever channel he was trying to watch or something like that. But the fact that it was doing it on its own was the weird part.
Well, and like you said, it wasn't plugged in.
Yeah. Okay. There's like
if it's not plugged in, Zeke.
Gutted electronics,
too.
cable fucking snipped. There is no possible way this thing is working, and it's still turned on.
Battery
Good night, Fang. Have good noodle snoozles.
Yeah, this hood's got a lot of space. If I put on the hood, I would not have a face anymore. That's how it is. It's a big.
I love those type of hoods too.
Okay, but we were like really chilling in this place, but we were not chilling at the same time. We were like, yeah, it's not that good. Okay, God, what the fuck? We got in there and like we did everything. Of course, like a few days later, I kind of looked into all the information about it, and yeah, that's not a good few things. My experiences with it were we were being watched by what felt like 50 to 100 different people wherever we were. Definitely the lower floors felt like yeah. There's a lot of like things. There was I think Buddy Matt. I don't remember if this guy was there. I seem to remember him being there, but I know one of the friends that we had that was there. Yeah, one of the friends that we had there. We're gonna call him Buddy Matt for the moment, I think, because my brain's just kind of visualizing other people with these names because I'm trying to throw made up names to these guys.
You can always call him Bob.
He heard. He heard what sounded like the door to that lower floor area moving on its own at one point.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He felt he heard, or he thought he heard that, and we were like, dude, that's not worth it, right? And he still went down there. He's like, I gotta go check. I want to see if the door actually was the thing. Okay,
bro, that's a horror movie like side character.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Dumbest guy.
He's like, don't worry.
Natural selection doesn't.
He wasn't right. No, he actually decided. I'm gonna go down there. I was like, okay, but bro, you're like, that's a bad idea. He goes, the door hasn't. He comes back like 5-10 minutes later. He goes, the door hasn't moved. However, he said,
what?
I saw a kid on the hallway back here, and we're going, no, there can't be
A kid?
What?
A
there
kid?
can't be. Like Tyler at this point was like, man, I heard like people talking and stuff, and I'm like, okay, there can't be any way that this is happening. I'm thinking logically, there's no fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyler gets the dumb idea, and he goes, hey, one of us should spend a couple minutes or hours inside that area.
I'm sorry. No. Hold on. Let's
No,
take a couple of steps back. This man did not say, "Hey, you know, we see this place is dangerous. You want to sit in there for an hour? A good thing should come." What?
He didn't think anything dangerous was going on. He just knew shit wasn't right. And he's like, you know what? I want to fuck with people, okay? So he told a buddy of ours, he's like, we're going to put you in there. We're not going to close the door fully, but we're going to put you in there. We'll come get you after like 10, 15 minutes, okay? Even though he was ready to commit to leave them there for the rest of the night that we were like
Bruh, that's
around that place.
evil.
Okay.
That is actually fucked.
That's...
Okay. At the literal 15-minute mark, that friend was running down the halls. He's like, no, I can't do it. There's something down there. There's something in there. And I know it wants to kill me. So we got the fuck out of there.
Bro.
Okay, now, as much as this sounds like stupid accounts and everything else, it's stupid teenager things, and a lot of it was, yeah, when I looked into the information about it later on, I was like, oh, okay, so we're not the only ones. Okay. And we weren't the only people in that place. That's for sure. That's what I found out. Because I have a report here from some medium. Now, mediums you can take left or right with certain things a lot of times.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Who had never heard anything about this place and decided to take a tour into this place.
Okay.
They went in this place October 1st of 2010, and the first few things that they found was that the inmates used to make booze in this place.
All right.
Prison hooch.
Some were not prisoners. They were just unfit society members. And there is at least a German hung for murder in this place.
So, if I go over history context as well, for me to add.
Yep.
You said for booze, right? And I'm pretty sure alcohol was banned one time. I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, but this is I don't know that prohibition made its way to the northern border. I'm trying to recall my history, and I'm failing.
All I know was, like, I'm not saying it happened, right? But all I'm saying is I did recall that it did got banned, if not that year, if not the year after.
Well,
like
no,
around
in
that time.
like the 1920s, prohibition was definitely a thing in the U.S. But what I'm saying is it was in the U.S. and I don't believe it made it. It made it to Canada.
Oh, that's true.
Prohibition was a thing in Canada.
So, a lot of these things, like I'm reading over this quick sheet here of what this medium had accounted in 2010. And I am getting flashbacks to a lot of the shit. Like, I'm just reading it while you guys were speaking about that thing. And, yeah, so they went through, like, their initial things were certain things. They went to some of the protective custody areas. One of them, they heard the voices Randy and Goldsmith.
Okay.
Or the names Randy and Goldsmith. What they heard, what they felt like there was extremely dark, heavy, kind of lowest of low kind of thing. They had sounds of someone bleeding out and dying. Or it felt something like this. There was somebody being interrogated and not showing who did it or how it happened. It was very kind of shady. There was a name of a female named Juliet in this place. This person was described as having leather wristbands like all the way down, or arms or anything, like completely unable to move.
Right.
They were around in here in 1960, something in the 1960 area. There was a block in their throat that they, what they could tell was like throat cancer or something, and it was incredibly painful. And they got their heads smashed against a wall.
Yes. And for a medium that hasn't did research or seen this place, that's a little too detailed to be made up. Honestly,
yeah,
that's my opinion.
In the fifth cell, the only thing that they could account was just the words "yucky," like they did not want to be in there. At the entrance against the wall was someone hanging by suicide.
Damn.
Well,
Protective custody area 1 had a lot of things. They felt guilt of not causing and not wanting to cause any trouble or not causing trouble. They felt like people trying to grab at them. I remember that. I felt like someone was trying to grab at me a lot.
that's not a nice feeling.
mhm.
Ugh, no.
Whispering, quietly disturbed, like don't like loud
Mm-hmm.
noises, like the client constantly like please just quiet, like that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first cell. The second cell had apparently described as having a redheaded male who had recently shaved their head. And
Oh.
they had something against women. The only other word that they could describe was vile. The guard spurring they were like at guard points. They were like spurring profanity, snake tattoos, a nickname, calling him Snake or Firestarter. There were other accounts of like different cells. There's a long list of cells here. I don't want to go into them of everything.
Yeah.
There was some person in the third cell. There was really something wrong with them. They were super manipulative, like Charles Manson, kind of like they described it as.
Yeah, how long is these head pads going to go for? Like, God.
It is protective custody area 2 had a person who felt like their limbs were cut off, or they felt the medium went in there felt like their legs were immediately cut off or were being cut off. Their head was starting to hurt. They felt like injuries. They wanted to start hurting themselves. They were hearing someone talking, sounds like a robot, and crushing tin cans, and they only felt like the whole place was just covered in blood. There was a lot of other things. The courtyard, a lot of secrets were going on here. Not everyone who had died here were hangings, so that's something. There were a lot of things. The basement, the kitchen, and the basement. Here's some of the things.
Basement was the worst part. I'm pretty sure.
A lot of electricity and the energy in this area was super overwhelming. Like a major high feeling for working people in the basement, like murders, beatings. You can't really hear anything, and it ended up personally down here to get in trouble and get out. Hostage situations were in the kitchen, standoffs for up to a few hours at a time, and a lot of violent activity. The doctor's office and the doctor's room, everyone was afraid. Not really too sure exactly, but they felt like everyone was afraid. There was like head surgeries and traumas and other attacks against guards and inmates. I'm not going to list the other attacks or anything, but I'm going to say they were pretty bad. The female cell block felt exactly the same, but they remember names of Jenna, Marcia, and Jenna Marsh. And they were apparently shown by certain things, events leading up to JFK.
Oh.
Yep. The hallway spiral staircase. I remember this. I didn't see this, but Buddy Tyler did. A dark figure, a man like standing really tall, pacing down the hall, judging based on payment, felt remorse. People they felt like pacing. There was a dark figure there that made them want to like start pacing, judging based on payment. People were being judged based on how they were treated or how much money they had. There was a lot of unsettling feeling, as well as a judge accepting bribes. The courtroom had a couple of names.
Okay.
And the medium felt like they shouldn't be talking about any of it. They were eventually told to get out.
So a lot of like hush hush. Clearly some corruption.
Yeah, obviously.
I can imagine
It
the
sounds
things
like-
going down in the courtroom. They were like, nope, whatever you see here, no, you didn't.
Yep.
No, you didn't.
Warden's room. They had seen someone walk in there. I guess that was some of the people. Something. They also came to the account of kids playing, like family visits were at work here, and kids were running around. That was something we experienced. A lot of these protective custody areas, these were actual history from these places that were going on. Protective custody 3, as we had been told from here, there was Randy Goldsmith, extremely dark, someone bleeding out, not showing what happened. A female named Juliet, some leather wristbands, some blocked throat, like throat cancer. Someone's got their head smashed against the wall, a cold shower, just the cell just doing certain things, and a hanging. The actual account of what happened in Protective Custody Area 3, it was used for women. There were suicides in each cell. One hanging in a cell with a mannequin, and apparently came back to life at some point. The 1800s section of the jail, there were a lot of SA offenders in this area. There were staged suicides, and certain things. Protective Custody 1 had a lot of things like members of the Hells Angels, dual personalities, people here for multiple accounts of murder. Some people were spent 6 months here, 6 months here, and one in each cell. There were a lot of things that went on. The basement, solitary and basement, brick walls, dome shape. People died. Refugees put down, forgotten. Some people were Vietnamese. Inuit were taken down here and never came back. A guard said when doing rounds, they would go down together. Figure of a big man, an inmate, and a trustee who did not want to work in the kitchen. Or trustees did do work in the kitchen thing. And again, that cell area, I didn't like it. Again, whenever they recounted what happened in the cells, a lot of electricity, high energy, a lot of people working, murders, beatings. They can't hear anything, and ended up somebody had ended up personally down there to get in trouble and get out. A lot of violent activity. Yeah, that really, from my accounts, that was a lot of things that happened in there. And again, the warden's room. There were kids in the jail, very active in this area, in the warden's room.
You think it might be their children?
Maybe.
Could be.
The courtroom had a lot of trials. Apparently, the judge just dropped dead at one point.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, these are things that happened throughout the history. It doesn't say when they happened here, but a lot of the stuff that happened in this area was... Yeah, I remember a lot of it, but again, my accounts of things were all what were happening, and it's... I'm not going to say it's a good feeling, but definitely it is a place for a lot of people who, that hand is definitely going.
Yeah, it's connected to somebody.
It won't stop.
Like, it's connected to
It won't
you.
stop.
It's connected to you. Like, if I move you, it's connected to you.
Yeah,
Can you just delete the item? Just delete the item.
I
in the
can't.
scene.
It's connected to him.
So, to me?
Yeah, it's connected to you.
That's
Hold
a
on,
lie.
item
I
setting.
am not.
Remove
no,
all
I don't have
items.
any emotes. I'm not even live. But yeah, no, those
You
were
sure?
those were the accounts that I had of certain things while I was there. And again, what the medium had, it was kind of lines up. I was probably messing around in there in like 2005-ish with friends and stuff like that. Things so. Like 2003, 2005 area, and everything that I felt in there was just again confirmed with this report here. And I don't like that. Again, a lot of people can actually look up this place and actually get other people who have gone through here. It is not a comfortable feeling. From my own experience and remembering it, like even me just reading everything that's going on here and then my memory kind of doing a flash of like remembering whenever I was in there, I almost like I'm a very tough person a lot of time. I can like hold a lot of things and I feel like I want to break down because I remember how I felt.
Honestly, knowing you, like knowing you're a logical person, I would have like think you would try to find like some type of like logic in it, but just couldn't. So that's why you were close to a breakdown.
Yeah, like I quite literally want, like when one of our friends was literally like in such a panic state, he's like, "There's something that wants to kill me down there." We were like, "Okay, we're out, we're going."
Yeah.
You know, at least you were better than most
does sound like
people.
it's
Most people would go down there with a Ouija board. It's like, hey, let's do this.
Oh fuck no!
No.
And it's like, bro, why?
No.
Anything that's got malicious intent like that, no, don't try to talk to it. Don't try to talk to it. Just respectfully say, "I'm so sorry for intruding. Goodbye,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
please
yeah,
just
yeah,
stay
yeah.
here.
Bro,
Yeah.
just fucking sprinkle some fucking holy water all over your knuckles and just get to swinging.
Just start
Yeah,
swinging.
right? No, but yeah, it was not a good experience. And again, I have a lot of these like experiences where I was like walking through forests and had some similar feelings, but nothing as bad as that.
But I feel
Nothing that I
for
felt like.
I feel like it's not bad in the forest, because in the forest it makes sense somewhat, because there's like animals and stuff roaming. But when you're in the area where it's closed off and you, God forbid, like anyone's behind any door, like you just don't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what makes it more like intense compared to like
Yeah.
outside, because you're in the open. You can run any direction and you can make an improvised weapon on spot. Let's say if
Yeah.
it does get to that point. In a closed off area, you can't do that. There is no second chances. There's only one way you can go out, and that's the opposite direction. God forbid if that door's locked.
Yeah, no, well, a lot of like my panic as well with that as a certain thing are one of my like especially for the the high containment cells or anything like that. It's just no, like it felt very violent. There's things that's like you do not want to do with this thing. You do not want to go up against this. It's like there is stuff.
Yeah.
I am willing to explain more. Again, I don't want to keep reading this thing because I keep seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, but I will answer like if you have any other questions about that or any other things I can possibly provide from my
So-
own history knowledge.
Yeah,
can
I
do
got a
that.
question, actually. How long exactly did you stand in that place? Because I know, like, or
Okay.
like an estimate, like, even if it doesn't even have to be exact, like, you just went there
Yeah.
in, like, maybe, like, evening time to, like, midnight? Or, like...
So we were approximately in there for about like maybe probably at best 2 to 3 hours. And because
Okay.
we were just gonna chill in here probably for the whole night, but when things started getting a little bit out of hand, and, like everybody started having these not good feelings, we opted to just not.
I mean, makes sense. And
Which is
then...
fair.
Yeah.
My second question is when I don't know if you were paying attention time. I don't know, but I do want to ask this question because curiosity. When did the activity intensify? Was it like 2 hours in, or?
Okay, so when we first got in there, we had this feeling like we probably shouldn't be here, but normally when you go into a place like that or like something like a building or anything else, you kind of have that kind of feeling like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this, right? And then
Yeah, I
there's other
mean,
points where it's like,
that makes
you know,
sense.
yeah. That feeling almost never went away. Even as we adjusted
Jeez.
to the place, it never went away.
Which that's red
That makes
flag
sense.
number 1.
Yeah.
Oh, and you had said too that like the TV had turned on pretty much.
Yeah.
Like one of the first
Yeah,
things that happened
That
when you
was
got
like
there.
within the first 30 minutes because we were just gonna like plop ourselves in a bunch of cells and then just kind of like just hang
Chill.
out there for a bit and just kind of relax and stuff. And the TV turned on and we were like, "That's who the fuck did that? Did you guys do that? No. What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it just got worse and worse as we kept going on because apparently it's like this. To me, it felt like the prison was still running despite nobody was there.
Well, because from the sounds of it, like it very much was.
Mhm.
With like the activity that's still there, seems a lot. It seems like it's a combination of just like residual, like kind of just looping through the daily
So-
daily activities,
So if,
with then also some more intelligent active.
because if I have to
Funny.
connect that to something, there's this small story. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but there's this place called the Devil's Den, which is in Garysburg. There have been rumors of people still hearing gunshots and like screaming in that area, as if a battle is still going on. Based on my research and stuff I read on like the occult and that, sometimes the stuff will keep going regardless if it's happening or not. It's like them being an endless time loop, and that's why.
Yeah, that's
The TV, I know that it did not account in the record of the 2010 investigation for the place. and I'm trying to find the information about it, but apparently there was a security guard or a prisoner that was usually hung out with these security guards in like the holding cells in their office, the temporary confinement or anything. And
Mhm.
he was always wanting to watch TV at a specific time. And the thing about that
Oh.
is that lined up with our time that we went in there.
Oh, that yeah. So then definitely tracks with the residual. It's
Yeah.
kind of like living still stuck in
Yeah.
their
pattern,
routine, like,
yeah.
because that's
That
not
is
a good routine.
100%. That is 100% a replaying ghost. Like they are trapped in a time loop of them always being able to have access, hanging around with the guards in that area in that cell, and giving the permission to be able to go up to the TV and interact with it. So.
And another scary fact about it is not all ghosts fall in that like loop,
Yeah, there are
because there can be
there are
multiple ghosts in that same area, and some of them may
Mhm.
not even be following that loop. Hence, towards what you guys probably went through.
Yeah, so the things in the thing in the containment cell, for example, 100% is not replaying. It is
Mhm.
trapped. It cannot go up the stairs, but it can roam the halls in all of the like solitary confinement area.
Mhm.
Which is
And
good. Like
that
at
is not
least,
safe.
like I say good as in at least you know to avoid that area. Like
Yeah. It's unsettling to feel that. It's unsettling to feel like if you even go to those stairs, that something is going to happen to you. Like you're going to get stabbed in the
Mhm.
back or something like that. But like going up to that cell that is at the bottom of those stairs, like the one cell that you can see at the bottom of the stairs, it is right in
Mhm.
front of the stairs. That one was just not good. It might not even, from a lot of other people who've done things, it might not even be that cell specifically, but it definitely,
Mhm.
to me, when I went there, it felt like whatever was hiding in that cell was waiting for when someone least expected it, or went in that room for any extended time. And Buddy Tyler doing that, he's like, I don't know, and then he decides he's gonna play a trick on the friends. Definitely did not add to that.
No, that's
it
a bad
doesn't.
time.
Yeah, it's. Oh.
Bad call, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Name change for legal reasons.
Yeah.
They want natural selection to happen. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay, so the medium does account that it felt like don't fuck with the dead. Yeah, that's absolutely the case. The medium described that in those cells there was a large man hiding in there. Like he was not hiding, but like locked in there, and he must have put himself in there intentionally.
Oh, thank you for the stress, Milton.
So, yeah. Yeah. So this means that this person either knew that they were a problem or had done so in such an aggressive, or like intended to get down there just to avoid other things, or knew how aggressive.
to do aggressive things to
Yes,
people because
in
no one's
in
gonna
that
find
solitary
out.
confinement area, hey, look, not too far from solitary confinement, the kitchen. Yeah, so do some math on that one. So if that cell was indeed his cell, his ill intent for everybody in the building still remains there as a literal being of its own now.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah,
Stay away from that. Definitely.
It sounds like
Yeah.
a really crazy experience, honestly.
I don't recommend going there, but if you guys ever decide to go down to the town and take a tour to that place, do not include me, okay?
Include Seek anyway.
No.
But Zeke, you'll be so close.
I'll be
No, just go back. Like if we joking
I'd
around
be
and
closer
do.
than if you were, here.
If we just joking around and go there, just be like, listen, if we do go back to that place, right, just for jokes, I expect to hear the words out of your mouth, hey, ghost, I'm back for round 2.
If I did that, I'm pretty sure I would incite the wrath of everything in that building. I feel like that's what would happen. Like, I walk into those front doors, like, I'm ready for round 2.
It's
Cool.
It's like it's like a RPG where you apply target focus to yourself, but it's a permanent buff and not temporary. Ghosts have a habit.
Channel your inner Shane Midday. Sup, Ghost? It's me, your boy.
Yeah. Ghosts have a habit of remembering people in times, so me returning may be ill-advised. Same with my other friends, especially when the other friend who ran out, we're just gonna call Matt for the sake of I can't remember his name, and like I'm not gonna call him anything else because or his actual name. So I'm just gonna say it was Matt because Matt, my brain thinks is somebody else, and everything else. And this case is when he was running out, right? Yeah. That doesn't bode well. When he was running out, the only whenever a few days later, when I was talking to him about it, and like when I finally figured out that place is haunted as fuck, and here's the reasons why, I was like, dude, did you when you were down there, did you hear or see anything? And he goes, yes. Whatever was in that cell with me was waiting if I fell asleep, is what he said it felt like. He also said that the cell door eventually opened opened for a little bit, and he heard a voice that says, you have this one chance to be out of here, otherwise you will come back in here and you will never see the light of day again.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, no.
This, on account, would be, I think, one of the security guards. Okay? But he was in that room, the door was barely even closed. It wasn't like closed locked, even though Tyler wanted to fucking do that because he's a dumbass.
God, he didn't, yeah.
Yeah. That's the point where he said, I'm going to run. I can't do it. I can't do it. If there are too many things, he heard the kitchen, he heard all that stuff. He's like, yeah, no, I'm gone.
Yeah. Good job. Way to have self-preservation skills, Matt.
Apparently, natural selection isn't with this one.
Yeah. So, if it were a positive paranormal experience, which is a possibility, and recording, even then I'm a part of the Nope Squad. But I got shit like this, so I'm so adamant not fucking with ghosts. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like because for a lot of people, right? Even like myself, decently, I would at least go to a haunted place at least once just to see how the experience feel, and then just never mess with it again. Because I feel one-time experience doesn't hurt as long as you're not touching a board or any of those other crazy stuff. Like I'm pretty sure all of us here has an IQ higher than a goldfish, but
so maybe that'll be my next one, where there's a specific town that if you even so much as take dirt back with you, sorry, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So sometimes no, not even once. Sometimes not even once.
But that's a town. That's not a house.
Just in case you weren't aware of what was going on, because it says sorry, I am inattentive. 2 words. Friend decided to lock other friend inside the cell because I said there ain't no fucking way I'm going back down those stairs. He decided to put him in the cell and close the door, not completely, but enough that the door would be considered only open to a width of maybe a couple of fingers, enough that it's not going to close, but it's not going to be open, visibly open either. Yeah. Fair. From his account, he said the door opened wider than that. Now, I can't tell you if that was the case. I did not go back there.
I mean, I would hope you have the brains to not go back there, but yeah.
Yeah. Because his account was he saw the door open up a little bit more. And the voice said, hey, it sounded aggressive. We're going to let you out. We're going to give you this one chance to leave this room. But if you fuck up again, you're going to be back in here and you will never see the light of day again, was kind of the rough idea of what the words were. Basically, something was telling him that they can leave. However, it treated them like another one of the prisoners. You are able to leave this spot, but if you do whatever you did again, you're coming back in here and we're never letting you out again.
So it is possible that was also more of a residual thing rather than actively addressing him.
Because I doubt the security.
Still terrifying.
I doubt a security guard would say that in that wording. Like, it wouldn't make
Like, it wasn't-
100% sense.
No, it's like it's definitely not like that like calm, right? He said it sounded aggressive. It sounded like he was being insulted. Yeah.
Yeah, we know the Darwin Awards. Don't
We
worry.
know the
don't worry,
Darwin
we
Award. Yeah, we
understand.
absolutely know that.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that combined with whatever he felt was in that cell with him
Mhm.
was more than enough of a push for him to get out of there. And him running down the halls, that alone, like he's like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. We're like, okay, yeah, we're getting out. Whatever is down there either is basically has the property deed to this place. You can fucking have it. We're gone.
We don't get paid to be here.
Yeah. Like you've taken the basement. You can take the whole fucking jail if you want. I don't care. But we were here just for a visit, just for a giggle, and now I'm like, yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, I don't think this is fun anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit, I'm out.
Yeah, absolutely. Frog, you've been kind of
Yeah.
quiet.
Bro, I've been locked in.
It's
The vibing.
Locked
Yeah,
in,
Into the
locked
spooky
in.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just been chilling, listening to it. I'm like, damn. I occasionally make like small comments where I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, like it's not a good feeling. I know I've been like dwelling on it a whole lot, and
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I really
no, it's-
like I said, I'm really happy that you come other than the hand that won't like disappear now. But I am flat out happy you are a guest and you did tell your experience. Because this is something like I genuinely strive to hear in that. Like I love listening to personal experiences.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why we brought you on. That's why we got you here, Zeke. So thank you so much for joining us.
yeah,
I
no
would love
problem.
to climb into that cannon and launch myself out of it. That'd be
What?
rad. I'm going to
Ah.
climb into that cannon. I'm
The
going to
cannon
launch
that's in
myself
front of
out
the jail.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was like, a cannon? Where's the cannon coming from? Oh yeah, no, the image that's directly next to me. Got it.
Yeah.
I found myself insanely interested, but I do not like the concept of opening myself open to any spirits or shit like that again. I'm aware there's a lot of protective measures, but despite measures, there's so many instances when shit goes astray. So whenever I do experience paranormal, I just nope out as quick as possible. No, that makes sense. And as I said,
Yeah.
like I don't mind like seeing a haunted place just
Yeah.
for a bit, right? And then just
Mhm.
like leaving. It's not like I want to stay overnight like some of these other crazy people, or like even a Ouija board. Like I in my couple weeks back, I done a reaction video. There's this person who done a Ouija board by a graveyard, and it seemed like so. You guys know the rules of Ouija board. I would hope, like to a degree.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Okay,
Yeah.
so rule number 1: you're not supposed to be by yourself using this board. Everyone knows this rule.
Yeah.
Want to take a guess what that guy did? Used it by
Used it
himself. And yeah, second rule: you're not allowed to take your hand off the piece or whatever it's called, the planchette or something
Until
like
you're
that.
done communicating.
The man took his hand off that at least 80 times, if not 90. And the planchette looked like it was moving by itself a lot of the time, which is scary because it doesn't look like it could be faked. And I watch a lot of fake, like, stories and that, and I can tell you this one felt legitimate. Like there was no string or anything that couldn't have moved by itself. Like no doubt it couldn't have moved. And at the end of the video, the Ouija board was basically inside the cemetery and it was just on fire. Dude don't know how it was on fire because he said, screw it, I'm just leaving. And then he realized he didn't say goodbye, so we just went back to the cemetery. I feel like the last
So
part someone could
basically-
have been messing
Basically,
with
he
him.
just gatewayed himself into a bad luck.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, hang on. I mean, like, for real, I've had times using, like, Ouija board with other people, and, like, all of us, you look around as it's moving really fast, and we're all just, like, trying to keep up, so, there's no one clearly, like, because I know part of it, there's, like, that, what do you call it? There's a thing that happens if you just like put your finger down. You can see that like it is moving, and so you get a collective people doing that with their fingers on it. Like it will move. Like, and it will, like, in your subconscious, like you kind of like think that, you know, it should move. So, you know, when it goes like really slow and stuff, you're like, okay, no, that makes sense. No, this thing, like, we're desperately trying to cling on, and it's just like whipping around the board, and we're all just like, what is happening?
It's really bad, especially if you can like place like a finger on it and it immediately tries to fly towards a letter.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's like you have literally like 2 fingers on it, and this thing is just zooming, and you're like, okay, no, nobody's doing this.
Yeah, but this man didn't say goodbye until he see the half-torched Ouija board. He grabbed the burnt planchet. It's like goodbye, and he said it multiple times too. And he just tossed the flat-out planchet and just like ran to his car, like he was done. And it's like, bro, this felt like the most legitimate and dumbest man I have ever seen. Like, legitimately. Like, bro, no. I didn't know.
Simultaneously, this is real, and you're so fucking dumb for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like stuff like that, and yeah.
Yeah, and as I read Owl's statement, I do agree. It's most of the time it's negative, and it's, as I said, with natives. Natives don't want to mess with the dead, and it's bad to disrespect the dead.
Owl specifically said most of their paranormal experiences have been.
Yeah, no, I'm just pointing that out though. Like, it's just it's related to.
100%. Yeah, not all of them are 100% negative. I will agree.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have like different problems and stuff, and like I have plenty of other stories of when I was living in that town and other buildings that are just so. You don't really want to spend some time walking around those places because like it's really unsettling a lot of the time. But those are like stories I could tell you guys later on or so. That's fine.
Yeah, there's, like I said, we are nearing the end of the rope.
Yeah.
Here, but it is, as I said, it is great to hear. Maybe some other time you can join into this wonderful podcast. Maybe for some more.
Maybe. Yeah. I should probably prep a little bit more, but yeah.
I'd see it like.
Well, it sounds like Owl. It sounds like Owl needs to be added
Owl's
to the
got
list.
some stories. Bring Owl on here.
Bring Owl on here.
Okay, Owl, you've been added. You've been added to the list.
Hold on. Let me make it. Let's put it on a poll. I believe everyone would agree, but let's put it on the poll and see.
I mean, there's like a lot of people who want to want to be on here.
Well, no, because I think. Yeah, I think we've got a few people like already that, because you know, Frog's got someone, I've got someone. We wanted Zeke to be our first guest.
Yeah, just to test things out.
I don't know why I had to be the first one, but you know what? I'm very honored either way.
What do you
we had to start off strong.
Yeah.
It's really good, and as I said, it's good to like when we're doing like the guest stuff. I did wanted to see how we can test and see how it's going to work. And from the looks of it, it is like a really good. Other than the hand, like, God, I can't get rid of the hand. Please, one of y'all had to.
I was able to turn off all your items, Nietzsche, so now no one on my side sees it.
Let's see. Can you like get rid of it? Let's see if it's like on your side. Like you double click.
No, it's on you, Nietzsche. It's entirely on you.
How do you?
It's because I removed your items. No, it's back.
How do you remove? How do you?
Okay, I can touch it. What the fuck?
Yeah, put it in the bottom right. Put it in the bottom right.
The hand is going crazy. It is like trying to wrap.
Put it in the bottom right. See,
it's like a crazy claw machine of like a human can like.
See?
Oh my God!
You should see a trash can. Put it on the bottom.
Someone grab it!
And Frog getting grabbed. Put it on the bottom right. You should see a trash can.
I gotta full screen it. Hold on. People have decided. What the hell is going on?
I don't know how you ended up with it, but there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't me. I couldn't because like I literally disconnected the thing, so it couldn't have been me.
Well, no, you had 2.
Like that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have redeems like that. There's no fucking way.
There's been a new update to VTube Studio though, where you can steal other people's items if you're in a collab. So. Somehow it got yoinked over to the Zeke.
Because Vel, that's your head pat.
No, that's my head pat. No, that's mine.
No, it's Nietzsche's.
Is it?
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's literally mine. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
I don't tell you.
No, let's say anymore. That shit's spookier than the fucking jail. I'm kidding. No, it's not spookier than the jail.
Thanks, mutant. But yeah, no, and like when we're looking for more guests too. We'll definitely be reaching out to help people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
does
looks
look
like
like
mine.
Hell's
That just
hand,
looks like my regular hand.
It's just a regular normal hand, and mine's is just cartoony.
I mean, that does kind of look like my hand. So that's fair.
I thought it was gonna like grab me and just like take me for a little bit. I was like, oh god. I was like, I thought it was
Again,
gonna,
master
drag
hand
you
be
away.
like, master hand.
Hold on. Nietzsche, do me a solid. Grab Frog and throw him around the screen.
Okay.
Use your telekinetic cat power. Grab him and throw him.
Just
Oh god! I wanna be sick. I'm gonna be sick right in the fucking coffee. Oh god.
No, it's being
Shit.
perpetually heated. It's gonna smell so bad.
God.
No, please don't do it.
Don't do it. You have so much to live for.
It's like that game Grabbed by the Ghoulies, but I am only being grabbed by one ghoulie.
I think this the head pat Maeve gave me as well. Yeah, same head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, am I just? I'm looking at your stream, Nietzsche, and like, am I just tilted?
I think you're tilted by like 1 inch. Hold on.
I'm like 2 degrees
Yeah,
off from
you're
center.
I'm surprised you noticed that. Honestly, like I knew something was bothering me and I couldn't tell.
I'm like 2 degrees tilted off
Bro.
from center, and I'm like sitting there going, "Excuse me, am I like tilted?
Oh my gosh.
Why are you so tilted,
Why
bro?"
you tilted, bro? Let's go to Tilted Towers.
Like I could tell I was like 2 degrees off, and you're like, "Something seems not okay. What the hell's going on?"
Something doesn't seem all right here. I wonder why.
I didn't realize you had Eek standing on the table, Nietzsche.
Listen, I was trying to hide the head pats, okay? Because it wasn't going away.
Look,
Just to realize Seek
look.
had it connected, okay? Is that really my fault?
He made sure that I had something to say. Okay, so he made me stand on the table because now I have the floor. I don't
But
have
it's
the
not the
floor.
floor,
I'm
you
on
have the
floor, I have
table.
the table, but yes.
I was gonna say no. Then you definitely don't have the floor.
He said, "Fuck your table, bro." The table, you broke it.
Look, I don't have the ability to use my model often, so the factor that I'm able to use it even for something as simple as this is just great.
No, hell yeah. I'm so glad that you were able to. It's been great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But
Are we wrapping up? We getting ready to
Yeah.
raid out? Do you think, Nietzsche?
yeah, yeah.
So like, how much money are we spending on fireworks? By the way, like I've been seeing those things detonate like the entire stream. I'm trying to get a little bit
I
worried.
don't think that's us. I don't think that's
So,
us. I think that's just whoever else
so,
is doing that.
Again?
Oh shit! You guys got fireworks. I got shooting stars over here. There's just it's just raining stars.
You see, our taxes are going somewhere. They're going somewhere, and that's all I gotta say.
Is this like a tax write-off?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, cool. I'm down with it then.
I also noticed that I was looking at like a small like VTuber just out random, and it seems like this their affiliate anniversary. If we want to rate out the dem.
DM me the username.
Yeah, I can put it in the VC thing.
The level, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It is. They've just amplified their sparklers.
It's the Loveland Frog. Frog, why don't you next time?
There's like a dial on the side, and they just like amped it all the way up to 11.
Frog, why don't you just sit there and just make your next introduction that it's the Loveland Frog? You just like quote the whole song.
He is a big old frog. There's more than one of him.
Now
That song is hard.
we are gonna free raid out.
Surprise face reveal.
Listen,
I mean,
As I said, I do appreciate all y'all for being here. I'm glad that I set this up. We set this up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this has been great.
yeah,
I'll be streaming tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern with some more Doom Eternal. What about you, Nietzsche?
I'd be streaming Pathological 2 tomorrow. Our wonderful Dr. Sims that may or may not about to be a Souls-like to me. Just joking, Seek. Don't jump on me. But yeah, we will hit them with the pumpkin raid.
There's a plushie raid message as well if you want to use that, and we're gonna go head out. Thank you everyone so much for being here. You have a great rest of your night.